All right, guys. Well, we're back and we are live. Welcome, everyone, to Let's Hash It Out. Um, these tend to get, I don't know, it seems to be, they seem to be blending in together. The days seem to be blending in together. So I don't know, is this episode eight, nine? I think it's nine.
Fine.
But either which way, welcome. And So I guess a few people are waiting on me to say a few things regarding Digibite, and I may one day, but that a few things had happened there. A lot of false accusations, having to go back and prove no, this was never said, this was not said either. And then a disclaimer. So a lot of things just it shouldn't have to be like that, but I get it, right? However, the different other things going on with Digi Asset X closing, and then Matthew working on Core, I didn't feel that it was a good time for me to interview Matt because I don't personally know the dude. Um, and my goal is not to be the next Jared Josiah of Digibite. That's not my deal. That's not what I was just bringing light to different things that are happening. And these different things will be worked on. And at this point, what good does it do by me sitting playing armchair quarterback? What needs to be done and what is being done is Matthew is working on core, and that Digi Asset X core needs to be done first and foremost, from either which way you look at this. So, and from me being involved with other friends who are heavily involved and still with several questions, I don't know. I needed a break from everything, so I had to step away and I had to get back to working on this property anyway. So I've been absent and doing a bunch of stuff. Just working on the property and getting bitten by ants trying to pull weeds. It's been, it has definitely been a week, and now it has been 6 days since I had a cigarette last. So I was smoking 3 packs a day, and I've been doing that for a little while now. And but I just couldn't breathe, I'm just coughing like
Hmm.
crazy. I felt sick all the time. I just I love it so much. I love smoking so much, but it's the it. I was diagnosed with emphysema, so it's like I don't. I know I have to quit, but damn it, I love it. So anyway, I chose to breathe.
Good choice,
Uh,
man. Good choice,
Yeah,
Dave. I mean,
well done.
honestly, I used to, when I was running the nightclub, smoking 2 packs a night, you know, just like 9 o'clock at night until 4 a.m. I mean, I'd go through 2 packs of Marlboro Lights. And that's been 23 years ago, 24 years ago. And I mean, after that, I just quit. I mean, it got to that point where I could actually, in the back of my, like in my back, I thought I had like, oh, my back's bothering me. I don't know what it is. It is my lung got so inflamed, that it was pressing behind and just touching it was sore. And I'm like, I'm done. And so I stopped smoking cigarettes for shoot forever, really. I mean, once in a while I would pick one up when I was drinking, but I mean, it was rare, even though not the drinking part, but the smoking part was. But I would. It's the truth. Once in a while, I'd grab one if a buddy had one. Hey, give me a cigarette. You just feel like having one, and because I love it too. And so I got to the point where it's like I quit for years and years and years, and off and on. I'd have like a cigar or something, but not until probably in the last 2 years did I get back on the cigar kick. And I'll tell you what, though, being susceptible to that stuff and feeling that stuff, I don't inhale them, of course. When you're inhaling cigarettes, it's a whole different thing. And so The cigars for me are just a lot better middle of the road thing. You know what I mean? Because I got that addictive personality and I can sit and chain smoke all day. And so with that, it's more of an enjoyable experience. I can sit back and I like it. You know, I don't do it all day. You know, I'll maybe have one when I'm walking the dogs outside, or if I'm on happy hour or this, you know, I'll have, you know, I'll be chain smoking, it looks like. But really,
So,
I just,
Clint, would
yeah,
you say you're a blockchain smoker?
I guess maybe you could say that because, you know, it's only when I'm talking about blockchain.
And you don't
Interesting.
inhale.
I don't inhale, no, because you inhale cigars, man, that's a whole different deal. I mean, you do it wrong and you're, whoa, you know, you're knocked down. It's, you know, but so no, I just enjoy it. I like the smoke sensation. I've always liked that. And so I get it, Dave. It's rough. So I had to say
Right. Well,
moderation in all
it's either
things.
that
You
or
know?
it was either quit smoking cigarettes or I'm going to die this way.
Yeah, F that. No thanks, because it's a miserable death when you can't breathe. You know, you don't want that. You know, so
Well, poor choice, Dave. Poor choice.
For me speaking, it is quality of life. So I choose quality of life.
Of course.
You know,
What's
so
all the money in the world worth?
well, if that
You know.
means aspartame, I'm fine with that. You know, I mean, I'm not going to consume as much as a rat does in one lethal dose anyway. So, in a lifetime, I will never consume that much. So, I mean, all the studies and all that. Look, but that's the only way that a diabetic can do it. Okay, look, I just got to bite the bullet that way. But as far as quality of life, what I want is what I want, and I'm okay if it takes 5 years off my life. For me, it's just something I want and want to go do. So, but in this case, it's like the smoking. When I can't breathe, and I love it that much, it's like I said, it's either I quit or I'm gonna die this way, and I was fine either way. It's just I gotta at least try.
No, man. You made the right choice, and it will get better and easier over time. I mean, it's still a little bit rough in your head right now because you get constant de-addiction that's been nagging you, and you got to plow through that, and I get it.
Well, and
But
then I
just
have so much other
you'd
shit
be
compounding. Like right now, just to let everyone know, in the United States, for 2022 taxes, if you have a trust or a foundation, the cutoff on the taxes of 2022 of the extension is September 15th. Your taxes are due. So now, on top of that, now I got a whole year worth of shit to go digging and diving on and get ready in 3 weeks to go give to the CPA. So yeah, let's compound shit, why don't we? Right?
yeah.
that's why we need that flat tax, or at least a single. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would
Very
be,
easy.
that would be nice.
You sound very relaxed, Dave.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it is all write-offs at this point, so that is good, and I can forward those write-offs 15 years, which is what I want to do for this next 4-year cycle. So for every 4-year cycle, I can take that amount of profit, fix up a multifamily dwelling, and then I can write off 50% of the amount that I put into the property, or like 3/4 if I do a fourplex.
All
So
right.
that way, every 4 years, when I take profit, that amount that I put towards the property, I can write that off against that profit or capital gains.
Well, what I always find so inspiring when you tell those kind of things is that you put a lot of work in knowing how things work, and you're a bit ahead of me in the regards of dealing with trust funds and stuff like that. So it's just great educational insight that you provide, even though you're in the US and I'm in the EU. It is a very good angle for when you're in the money to create a trust and find out how to do the taxes through that. And I know that you put some hours in there.
And it's the next prenup. So I mean, if it's within a trust,
Oh, are you planning something?
What is she privy to? I mean,
are we invited?
No, thank you.
Was that a proposal, Dave?
No, because they don't like the word prenuptial agreement. So it's like the next best thing as additional protection against a significant other in the future.
Right.
the money made from crypto is either life changing or wife changing. So however you
Oh,
want to
wow.
look at
So who's the target?
it.
Who's the target? You heard it here first, guys. Note to the ladies, it's wife changing. Wow. Story of my wife, I guess. All right. Well, you
Don't
got some
notice.
plans, you're no, what I like, Dave, is that you say, well, I'm doing my health. I'm looking at a future with a woman. I think those things are great goals to have. And I think they're very healthy goals to have, and I think you should definitely work it, So kudos, man. Sounds
Well,
great. I think it's tough to deal with right now, but it will pay dividends.
yeah, I had to fix up my house first, so that's first thing. And yeah, next thing is my health, so the smoking, and then the next on top of that, to compound it even further, then I find out I'm obese, which I don't. I know I'm overweight, but I didn't consider myself as obese. But anyway,
With that amount of
the
money, get a
BMI
personal trainer.
the BMI states that I am, so I'm like, all right, so now I got a new goal. For this bull cycle, I want to go from 230 pounds down to 189, and then that's considered a normal weight for my height. So
Well, hey,
You'll be able to. I'll help you. I'll help
I'm
you
at
with
my
that. No
ideal
worries.
weight if I were like 7'2". That's the way I
same
look
here.
at it. I
I'm with
identify
you.
as 7'2".
Except you're 7'3", Clint. Except you're
Yeah.
7'3".
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you, Clint. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
the
that.
thing is, if you don't feel good, though, that's the thing. That's when you make changes. So that's good, Dave. Let your body say, "Listen, this is stupid. I got to stop."
Well, I'm doing the same thing. Last 6 weeks, I've been living in my new house. I got my couch finally today, and I've just been working out every morning. So I get out of bed, first thing I do is I work out, and I do that every day now. I eat very dry, like complete different diet, and I eat a shitload of yogurt because I'm in the Netherlands. Of
Oh
course,
yeah.
we got those dairy products, and then my skin is starting to change. It's like, what the fuck's happening now? And it's like, what the fuck's happening with my skin, man? Everything's getting softer. It's like, oh fuck, Jesus. And then you realize how far.
Everything.
Then you realize how far you took your health, right? I thought I was a pretty healthy fella, and then I'm like, oh, okay, there's another level. It's like, and it's good. It's good, but yeah, it's worth it to keep going. And just to give you some maybe some hopeful points, like you'd be surprised how quickly your body shifts into gear, even in a few weeks. It's remarkable how quick that goes. They got a shit ton of supplements these days with all sorts of shit you can get, like healthy shit, not really like, I'm not talking about like drugs or that sort of steroid stuff. I mean like actual, multivitamins, MDAAs. They got a shit ton in like pre-workouts. They got testosterone, like normal shit your body needs. And you would be surprised at how fit you can feel yourself in a few weeks already if you just, put the work in. And what's a few weeks? I mean, once you're on that angle, it's very easy to keep going. So if you need any hints or tips or so, we will find each other. No worries. It can be a lot easier than you think. Really.
It's all up here, really, is what it comes down to. It's your mind wanting to do it or not wanting to do it. And I mean, y'all get that. But that's really what it comes down to. You just got to want to do it. And it's about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
like
but you
said,
shook your body,
about 2
right?
weeks.
You shock your body the first time you do it. With your body's
do.
like, what the fuck's going on? I'm not used
it wants to be
doing this.
normal at that stasis level. The body kind of gets normalized, and then you're like, okay, hey, we're doing this. What? Huh? Why are we doing this? No, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. So
But
it's
then you
going to
get
be
through it.
resisting itself a bit, but there's stuff you can do to make sure that feels more how do you say that? So you can carry that a little bit better. So the first 15 minutes is about health for all the people watching right now. It's about
Then it's wealth.
Then it's wealth. So first it's health, then it's wealth. But
Yeah,
I
I
think both
feel
are
guilty.
viable.
I feel guilty with the health part. Let's get on to another
Why?
subject. No,
You feel
because I
guilty?
probably don't. Yeah, I don't. Dude, I live life in whatever road it takes me. Today's steak, I'll eat a steak, and well,
Tomorrow,
that's the way
mermaids
that's. You know what?
and
Let
fish.
me put. I'll eat a ribeye, and then tomorrow bologna. Well, then I'll have bologna. It doesn't really matter.
Nice. I went out and eat some Thai food today.
Yeah, just get in there and wherever it's at, enjoy. I'm glad I'm here by the coast where I can get some fresh seafood and mix that in there. And you know
Yeah.
what? My body tells me when it starts kicking a little bit. But the supplements, I do. I need to get with you, steak, one day and see what I
You know, the funny thing
what
is,
should I be
if
getting.
you have all the money, if you have that money, then why wouldn't you, extend your life with like 10 or 20 years in good health? Why
Oh
wouldn't you
yeah.
put some money in that? Why wouldn't that be worthy of investment? I think that's one of the best investments you can make. And I think it's foolish to think, well, it won't get any better. I mean, it's just it's the things they have these days, they work wonders. Like it's insane how much they can change in a healthy manner. And then it's just get a personal trainer. Like start slow, start slow, and start
Well, you know
small, and you
what?
do a little bit extra every day, and then all before you know it, in a few weeks, you lose a shit ton. I mean,
No,
it's that easy.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Actually, last night I went to a bar and I saw some older guys like myself, and dude, they all had neck. They all had no neck. It was like
No neck.
obviously it's just more of an abuse, I think, of either a steroid or of a testosterone.
Oh,
But they're all. It's they don't look natural. You don't see people
oh, you mean pumped up?
65 years old with the body of JRFK or whatever it is. It's just, it's not, these guys were even more so. They had no neck.
Yeah,
Their
I'm not
shoulders
talking about
were,
steroids. Steroids is
I don't know
shit.
what the hell they were. I don't know if it's the testosterone or I don't know if it was the steroid, but they were bigger, not
Juiced up.
muscular, just big guys. And I was like,
Yeah,
I
but the
don't want
bigger
to be
you
like
are, the
that.
more your heart has to pump. So
Yeah.
it's not your body frame is not even
That's what they
built
say.
for it.
That's what they say, Steak. I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't know anything about it. Never mind. Uh, Probably should go into
Yeah,
whatever. What do you got
yeah.
to say about
Let's do
grayscale?
religion. Let's do religion and sports next.
No,
Let's
no,
just.
let's leave religion out of it right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
Let's
just
that'll be
kidding.
good.
I
uh,
mean, those are the taboos, right?
Yeah, politics. Get into politics. Let's start talking
Oh yeah.
politics.
what do y'all know about grayscale?
Yeah,
Somebody
so let's
tell
talk
me something.
ETFs. There's a lot of ETF
Yeah,
news today. Just
Yeah.
coming out
yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
it's
Is
coming
it? Does
out
it
right
look
now.
like? Does it look like it's coming? I guess it is.
Well,
Where
even
there's
if it
smoke.
doesn't come, even if it does not come, it they must create. There's too much happening in March, so
Yeah.
it does stand a good chance of passing now. However, even if it does not pass now, they must create a decision by March with other legislation that's coming.
I think I'm going to be right in the aspect that by the time all that shit is viable through the ETF for like the rich people to buy, that the whole market will probably tank, and they'll just buy it at the cheapest possible price. I see so much happening in macroeconomics that's unsustainable, globally, and you see those two things coincide as well with one another. It's not a coincidence, I think. Like if you move from the old system to the new system, you want to do it cheaply. And yeah, I still think a little bit of a repeat, but get the fuck off an exchange. I mean, I'm looking at the vampire casinos. I mean, that's a great analogy. I mean, get the fuck out of there.
Yep.
Like really
Get
get
out
the fuck out of there
now.
because you're gonna lose your fucking money. And don't wait till the last moment. Download a wallet, get a USB stick, get a cold storage, get a multi-sig. There's great YouTube videos on it. You can ask people on Twitter, you can ask people on Telegram, on Reddit. You can do a Google search, log into your exchange. You have your address and send it to another address and just get it out. It's so easy to do. Maybe get a small amount first, but if you've never worked with it, if you don't do it, you're going to be fucked. I mean, it's so easy to see that coming, and I don't think many people realize it. But I hope for those of you that are watching, take your time and just do it, figure it out, and don't be, don't be taken aback by maybe being ashamed of saying, "Oh, I don't know something," because you want to be in a position of not knowing rather than losing your money. And it's better to step over your own ego with people that want to help you than not do that and hold nothing at the end of the day. I think that
Well,
that's
what's
I'm
y'all's guys
also
feeling on
concerned. Go ahead.
what's y'all's guys feeling on the KYC on all these new wallets?
That's
I
exactly
feel
More and
what I
sexy,
more
was
and
going to
sexy.
more.
say.
I feel sexy as hell.
Do
It
you?
it makes me excited, and
Makes you
I'm
feel
like,
wanted?
yeah,
That's where I'm
it
about
makes me
to touch
makes me
on right
feel
now.
wanted. Yeah, makes me feel special and unique, and
Well,
it makes me like they see me as
very
an
much
individual.
considering. I'm about to do the KuCoin KYC AML because I'm a professional knife catcher, um, and so I like to go
Scarred
in
hands and all.
Put
and
that in your Tinder bio, Dave.
You might end
so
up with something you don't want then. Look out.
well, I mean, well, for being in the United States, where else am I going to get it? Right? I mean, use Exodus or Atomic Wallet to swap it out, and then you're going to be eaten up by fees. And I mean, even with Change Angel, okay, but there's still some that Change Angel doesn't won't swap. So it's like, if that's my route is going to KuCoin, okay, well, if I'm going to pay tax, or not me, but the trust is going to pay taxes on capital gains and all this anyway, well, and everything is documented,
Right.
why do I care? I mean, 20% is 20%, no matter if I do it 5 times or 10 times, right?
Yeah. So how do you feel about KYC?
How do I feel about it? I don't
Yeah.
particularly care for it, but I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, me too. I think when it happens and you see it happening more, it strengthens me in the whole angle that, this compliance thing that we've been hammering and hammering on for years, that when that's coming, the market will mature, that, yeah, it's not bullshit. It is coming. You can actually now experience it yourself. So for me, it's like a confirmation, small steps of confirmation that, like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm right. Like I'm
Yeah, but
right in my timeline.
I agree. I agree there with you, Steak. And to me, it's if you're spread out like Dave has said in the past. Okay, so I am. I'm cashing out. I'm cashing out. You've got KYC. You. I feel you could let them know what you want them to be let
Yeah, I
known.
know. I
If you
understand your
have,
angle.
and not that I'm
Yeah,
hiding anything, but it's, you know what? If I came up to you, Steak, and I said, "What's in your bank account? How much do you have?"
sure,
Wait,
I'll
wait,
tell
wait,
you.
wait, 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 wait. Yeah, it's just none of your damn business. Or I guess that's a defensive
But the
mechanism.
problem
I
is I'm
guess it
Dutch.
won't
I
matter
don't
in the
have
future.
taboos up here. I'm
Yeah, and
Dutch. I don't. We
well,
don't have taboos. We don't give a fuck. It's just,
yeah.
it is what it is. But I understand your
You
point.
mean that's
Like,
all legal over there? It's all legal,
no,
and
I'm
you
just
can.
saying
I'm just.
I'm just saying that my worldview has been so pessimistic already in the past decades that I know that privacy, wherever you think it isn't there, and it's
Right.
just
Well,
not there anymore. Like the
that's
things they
like
can
so
Yeah.
many
do.
people with credit cards. I mean, everyone says,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I
well,
mean,
with
we could go
crypto
into
or with
privacy.
CBDCs, they'll be able to track you." I'm
Sure,
sorry.
but
What
like,
the fuck do you think
look,
they've been
you
doing since
buy
the
Dave,
1950s?
Dave, you buy a Roomba, like one of those
Yeah,
automatic,
or a
vacuum
ring.
cleaners,
Yeah.
and then yeah, or a Ring doorbell, and they are hooked up to a server, but they can change that on the back end, and who the fuck knows where it's going, and also, one thing I've learned, and this is fairly recent, at least when the news came out, but they're able to do it for a long time now. Did you know that they can use anything that resonates? And that means your Wi Fi, but also even your electrical grid in your house that resonates. They can use that to put a 3D scan of your house at any given time. They can create a 3D scan of it. like bullshit that they don't have cameras anywhere. They have like a fucking radar everywhere if they want to. Like this whole thing is so like, and then with KYC they're like, yeah, we know what you have, and with CBDCs, yeah, we could close down your money at any given point. Well, excuse me, I think they can already do that now as well. The only problem then is it's because it's digital, it looks more invasive and immediate, but they can already do that. They can already lock your bank account, freeze that if they want to. And if you're a fugitive, they can already track you in various means as well. You don't even have to have your cell phone doesn't even have to be on, or the battery has to be in, because there's also a backup battery, in order for them to have like a GPS location of where you are. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's not accurate. Well, it's accurate in a very, very short distance, So it's almost pinpoint accuracy anyway. So I'm just saying, like, we all think that, we're losing our privacy. I'm just here to say we never had it in the first place for the past few decades. And the system's going to do what it wants to do. And yeah, it is an issue. And yeah, it is waiting for a malicious actor to at some point, maybe, hopefully not, but do some nasty shit with it. Then again, I'm like, well, if this is what it is, and they can already do it, then maybe it won't be the soup will not be eaten that hot as it will be served, right? Maybe it will all play out pretty well, and it's more like an enforcement thing for the actual exchanges, because that's what I hope that the EU legislation will bring. I hope we get Interpol going after vampire casinos. I would like to see a world where that happens. I would love to see that, where you just get all these motherfuckers in jail. I would love it. Like, I would be like, oh, okay, finally some fucking thing is happening, and maybe some faith gets restored in the system again. If that happens, I would be okay with these legislations.
What exchanges do you like, Steak?
Peer to peer.
Decentralized ones.
Sure. I mean, but you know what? We're just starting to see the game. We're seeing it. We're playing it.
Yeah,
Nothing is
that's
still
pretty
safe.
much. It's difficult to ask me that question, because I think that hardly any exchange right now is playing by the books, and I don't see anyone where I think, oh, they are the beacon of shining light. I think they're all silent for a reason, and sure, some of them will have their hand longer in the cookie jar than others. And there's excesses that still have to be dealt with. They're extreme market makers. I think Binance is probably one of the most rotten exchanges out there. Yeah, I said it. I think it is.
Yeah.
In how they wash trade everything and market make it and manipulate, Tether through Circle and then BUSD. I think, and BNB. I think
That
there's a
means
lot of fuckery going on there.
That means they'll
Yeah,
survive.
and then there's maybe LCX, where I don't see that fuckery, but they're listed with the World Economic Forum. And I'm like, yeah, clean exchange, very compliant, but, great friends. And I just don't, I don't, I see that angle, and I'm like, yeah, I don't buy that neither. But it's almost like it's a trolley problem for me, Javier, when you ask that question. It's like the lesser of the evil, then what morals do you use?
That's why you say get your coins off the exchange.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the reason. And if anybody had any doubt, and I'm kind of led into that, and so I agree with Binance. When you said, I agree with you 100% with it. That's how come I probably know that that's one of the exchanges that's going to make it to the end, because it's usually the worst ones, the ones that everybody's talking about, the shit one that, oh, it's going to go down. It's usually the one that's saved at the end. And look, we're here to play this game.
No,
I feel more for the people in the stock market.
As far as
really
my
think
on-ramp, I in the United States, I use Gemini, and also for a few other reasons. I mean, my on and off ramp through Gemini has always been Litecoin, a little bit of Bitcoin Cash, but not much. Most of the time, it's Litecoin. However, and not Bitcoin. I haven't purchased any Bitcoin from there in years. However, the key takeaway there, and your miles may vary. My thing was I was not issued a 1099 for moving 6 figures profit out of crypto. So
Well, you're lucky.
in
You're lucky you
that
paid.
instance, you may want to keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, they will come after you. You will pay. You will pay penalties. You will pay everything.
Yeah, and
And
even though I was not given a 1099, I filed and paid my taxes.
damn
I
fucking
did.
right. Well,
They can go back on you 7 years, and it's like, I don't know. I'm just for the information. Look, I did do that, and I was not issued a 1099. I don't know.
Well,
Was it?
maybe that's a good thing, Dave, because the last thing you want is 87,000 IRS agents on your doorstep
Correct.
all at once.
yeah,
Right.
the
You know.
game's too early right now.
They're all hired specifically for you, Dave.
I can't wait to that time that Clint mentioned, flat tax and everything. That's what I want. But right now, at my age,
That's
I
where
don't
it's
want to look
going
over
in
my
Europe
back.
as well. I
Yeah, I
think
don't
one
want-
of the futures of CBDCs is going to be a complete eradication of income tax. I think we're going to see that in our lifetime, where there will be no income tax, and you'll just be paying VAT.
Well, I mean, doesn't that make more sense if you're running the show? If I were, master in charge, and the income tax is so difficult to run down.
Yeah, it's also
That's why they got
something you can sell,
87,000
right?
agents. Right. I mean, you can lie about income. Somebody can go out and get paid in cash, get paid in whatever. And, the IRS, what are they going to do about it? How are they going to know that? And so that's a problem. But if it's a sales tax or VAT tax, to where you're paying for everything right there through the business or right there at the point of sale, they do that now. And it's just a matter of saying, okay, we're just going to we got all our free collectors out there already in the form of businesses.
Yeah. So
Why do
it
you
begs
need
the question, though.
income?
It begs the question, though, for me, is like, I see, if we go with that model, I see 2 streams of income for government. Either they print, which they already do, but then the income that they can have if they can't have it for taxes, because they always want to have some sort of state programs where they build infrastructure or what have you not, and they print money for it. Either that's going to be the angle, or we're going to see a nationalization of some branches instead of privatization, and we go back to nationalization, and the government will end up making stuff again.
Well,
Like having public transport under their control, having energy under their control, having digital infrastructure under their control. I think that's often a very overlooked angle, that we might go back to more authoritative government, more centralized, planned, authoritative government.
Yeah, careful which way the barbed wire is facing. You want a wall. Just saying.
Yeah, I prefer to not have barbed wire at all, but it's never pretty, Dave.
Let's be
Well,
clear,
I mean,
State.
and that might be a thing. This next bull cycle is to look abroad, just for a temporary vacation.
I agree. We should all look for abroad.
Yeah, but let's be clear. When you say print, you mean just add more digits. There is no more printing. We haven't seen any money being printed since 2017. I don't know if that was Clint or someone else.
Yeah.
Here in the United States.
Any of our bills in the United States, nobody can find anything that's got anything past 2017 printed on it.
Physical bills.
Physical
No,
dollars.
but you mean, physical dollars. Yeah, okay,
Right.
I agree with that. But if you look at, I think the M2, then you see a vast amount of printing, and all that money that has been printed that should be going to the infrastructure bill and the CHIPS Act, that hasn't been spent yet. So I think that's just on the sidelines. And can you imagine, we're already running rampant with inflation, and that if you see the spike in the M2, it's like the Burj Khalifa. It's like a fucking apartment complex. That's how the graph goes. It goes up and up and up and up and even more up.
Yep.
And I think that all that money is yet to be spent. And it will be spent, because that's how the system works with the debt. That's just how it works. They print, they tax, they print. And I think that once that hits too, probably at the peak of austerity, that's when it doesn't matter anyway. If people feel the pain and there's blood on the street, might as well pile on top of it and get it over with. That's probably when we're going to see the whole everything bubble tank. Yeah, and that's going to be And that's going to be pretty because everyone's like, yeah, I lost my job, can't afford anything. And their government's like, well, we just spent some money on some big government public things, projects, just like the Hoover Dam. So we're just going to employ you now in the infrastructure dam, like we're going to build infrastructure everywhere. So, get employed by the government. And everyone does that. Hooray, it takes a few more decades and you pay off your debt. And,
I'm gonna
that's
ask.
probably the way it's going to roll.
I'm going to ask Clint another question. Now, you're right. I haven't seen any bills after 17, yet the coin coming from the Treasury, I do still see
Yeah,
newer
they're still,
coins. So
yeah, they're
I
still
didn't
being
know
made.
what is that big difference on the Fed? I guess the Federal Reserve and the Treasury printing out, or is there any? This is what I've heard
I
in the
mean, I guess,
past.
yeah, the theory is this, and it may be just a theory at this point, just because we're losing purchasing power so quickly. The mint itself is, it's legit. I mean, it's supposed to be legit. It's creating actual coinage, money. Problem is, it's not actual money because actual money, is gold and silver coin, and they don't even do that anymore. So it's kind of like, it is physical. I mean, again, they are putting real metal into it in a lot of it, and that's why they keep taking it out. They keep taking copper out, take copper out of the pennies and
Right, but
82.
it's constitutionally protected, being that it's minted by the Treasury.
Right, and it's supposed to be, but I mean, I guess we're entering that time phase right now to where does it matter? I mean, at some point,
Yeah,
they'll do whatever they want to do at this point.
I said,
Even though,
Clint,
I'd rather have the coins. I mean, I'd rather have nickels because the nickel itself with the copper and the zinc in it is worth more than 5 cents.
well, not only that, Clint, I sent you that video where the guy was taking apart those coins and making washers
for the metallic, for the useful.
it was worth more as a washer than it was as a freaking coin. I think.
And it may be constitutionally created, or officially
Drill a
created,
hole.
but what's it really have if the whole, the faith in everybody's lost? So the common person's going to look at it and say, okay, that's $0.25 that, who cares? Unless it's got some metallic value, I don't know that it really matters. And that's why I'm like, hey, if you want to get ahead of the game right now, it's like being in 1964 when they took the silver out of the coinage. Get all of it that you can, because it's like worth 20 times face value right now in 2023. Well, you still got that opportunity with a real metal like nickel. You can pay 5 cents for it at the bank, and you walk out and it's worth 5.5, 6 cents in metal value.
Hey, Clint,
and I think that'll continue to go up.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And all of this is, of course, slightly related, but it's a bit off topic with what you just said. I'm sorry for that, but it's just...
No, it's fine.
If I'm looking at like what asset we could be going at, I'm really looking at like, gold, maybe silver, and then I don't know a lot about silver, but then of course like the proof of work UTXOs, and I'm like, if I go down that route, and we've hashed that out before, how likely do you think it could be, and maybe this is a question for the other two as well, for Javier and Dave, that once, say hypothetically, a Bitcoin ETF gets approved, right? Say hypothetically that happens. I'm of the opinion, and I'd like all your opinions as well, I'm of the opinion that it wouldn't be that difficult to also then expect a Litecoin ETF or a Digibyte ETF or an Ethereum ETF. I think that's likely at some point. Probably some of those things like Litecoin would probably be earlier or sooner than a Digibyte one. But how would you look at it?
I think you're 100% right. Once the floodgate opens, and I mean, yeah, it's inevitable at that point, I think, because those are sound digital assets.
The only thing that'll give it value is us, because if we start getting, we know how many Digibyte there is and how many Litecoin there is, and you start every freaking exchange. Well, we will know when every exchange starts printing their own Litecoin and Digibyte and ETF on that, and to where we realize, look, there's 84 million Litecoin, and now just counting all the exchanges, how many derivatives they have, we're back into the same thing. I personally think that will stop because we will realize how they screwed us with the fiat currency right now, and people will not accept. Look, the ETFs aren't the problem. The regulation is the problem.
Well, the
For us
enforcement.
to
They
have
don't follow the
yield,
rules in the ETFs.
yes, for us to have some kind of yield, I'm willing to risk. I'm willing to risk my money like we used to in the old days when we used to get a CD and get 15% back. I don't know if anybody even knows about that. I
Oh
know
yeah.
Clint
Oh yeah.
probably does, but
Yeah.
most people don't even realize that there was a time where we were told, hey, you have $1 million, you have it in a CD, you can live the rest of your life
Yeah. You live off the interest.
on the interest.
Yeah.
In other words, you can't come and charge 36% on a credit card, yet giving me 0.005%. And once we realize
Yeah.
how this game is played, and some of the old people realize, hey, we're getting screwed. Hopefully, we
Yeah, but
don't die before we make
the
that
problem,
known.
Javier, the problem,
Yeah.
and sorry, I interject a little bit. The problem isn't just what you state, because you're completely correct. But the problem is also that no one knows what the actual price of everything is. I mean, even Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway, who I think is a pretty respectable man in investing, to put it lightly, actually holds so much cash right now on the sideline because he doesn't know what to buy. He says the entire market looks fucked. I don't know what to trust. Everything looks inflated, like everything looks out of
course.
proportion. No price is, because there's no real market mechanics, so you don't know what the actual price of an
But
asset is.
more than that,
So once
Steak,
everything crumbles, you go back to fundamentals, don't you think so?
no,
Yes.
because we need to
have
get
to.
rid of, we need
No?
to find out what the problem is. And the problem is the derivatives. As soon as you realize we could keep printing and they still control it, like in GameStop, when they start losing, stop everything. We don't want to lose any more money. Hey,
Well,
everybody else will lose
exactly.
generational wealth. And we have to control that. In other words, that regulation needs to come in and be very effective. If not, we don't trust the system. People like myself won't trust the system. Clint will not trust the system. We will still not know. You're right. We won't know the value of Digibyte. The value will be set by the government that has
No,
the
I don't mean
most
just the
weapons.
value of Digibyte, Javier. I mean the value of literally everything in the economy.
Everything.
Right.
Well, I
Well,
think
to answer your question a little better, Steak, I think I don't see it as 500 different ETFs that are going to list. I see it as a basket, sort of like S&P 500. It's going to be a
Like a
different
proof of work
market all
UTXO
to
basket.
its own. Right. And so, yes, you could buy your Spider index or the S&P 500. You can buy a basket of goods in that sense,
Well,
and they're going to derivatize that. And also, when they do that, that's also
there's
why
no.
I say there's going to be
so
manipulation, and they're
so
going to fail.
so
Well,
Dave,
there will be
so Dave,
manipulation.
Javier, just a sec,
Go ahead.
I want to make it a little bit more practical. Shouldn't we be starting something in the Digibyte community or in the Litecoin community then to say, well, can we push that? Can we at least get the narrative out there that there is a need for a Litecoin and a Digibyte ETF? Because these guys probably think of it too. And if you get some sort of community movement that we can, maybe a petition, or we can get something going on that to at least let them know that, oh, this is something to look at, like this is, the name is out there. Wouldn't that be the perfect
Well, it
timing
is,
right
but
now in the next
but
half a
but
year?
if they're being controlled by the same people, in other words, if there's listen, if you were able to write all the checks that you want, how much did you? It doesn't matter what the damn price is. You would be buying as much as you possibly can. I believe there is, and I believe we had a person with a patent that was
You mean
able
Reggie?
to Reggie, and I think Dave can elaborate more on the Vadar. And I don't know if that was the right one, but I know that it was to put value on absolutely everything. Will there be a big, huge change? Yeah, because right now
So how
we
close?
don't understand
How
what
close? How close is Reggie with Fidelity?
I don't know. That's I don't know any of the true answers. I just know that that's the direction that he seemed to be trying to steer the boat, and hopefully he can't. Hopefully we need to put some kind of fairness in the market, because if there isn't fairness in the market, this shit doesn't work. the person
Yeah, but I don't think
in
there will.
Sri
I don't think there
Lanka
will be fairness in the
continues to be
market.
broke.
I don't
So
think
I
there
know,
will
but
be fairness in the market until
well,
everything
I think there
collapses.
has to be. Well, then everything will need to collapse because steak. If we're gonna go through a shit
But Clint is
hard
looking
times,
at his buggy
how
bike right
how
now.
how are the people in Sri Lanka going to do it? How is the? I mean, there is nobody. There is no. We can't get. We can't be the country that's making $30 a freaking hour and everybody else makes a penny. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work for the world. I see a separation. I don't know, and maybe somebody can elaborate on this. They're saying we are getting closer to 7-1 on the Chinese dollar. I don't know if this has got anything to do with it, but I am going to throw that shit in the mix.
Uh,
If we are, I
well,
see it
you know,
balancing out.
just Javier, just to give some actual facts,
Yes,
and
sir.
I know this is very hard to digest for most people online because every news item you watch in every world, everywhere across the world in every country, every news article is usually doom and gloom because that's the thing that sells. But the world has never been better than it is right now. I mean, it's hard to maybe let that resonate, but it is like there's less hunger, there's less war, there's less diseases. Doesn't mean that there's still fuckery and corruption, and we see a lot because the news travels quickly. Like everyone logs everything, so everything gets out there, and everyone has doom and gloom. But the world is moving in a better place. So um,
Well, is there
I
less
think,
or is it more controlled? Is it controlled hunger, controlled illness, controlled everything that we're going through?
well,
And I'm
controlled
sorry
what,
to be so skeptical about or not trusting of the government, but they give.
right?
We just had a hurricane right here.
Yeah,
Nothing freaking happened. They
no, I
had
know.
the media there for a long, long time.
No, but that's the American dream. You do it yourself.
Yep. You know,
Sorry,
uh,
maybe it's the
yeah,
American nightmare in that regard, but
it
that's the
really truly
country.
is.
That's the country. I mean, you don't
It's
expect
had
anything, you won't
people
get any help. But
and
it
and
works in a different manner, Javier.
well, we need to find out and find a system that truly works because I believe people won't trust the system. I mean,
Yeah, but
if
what is
we're all
a what is
screwed,
what it-
if you
what
lose
is
your pension and you lose all your
yeah,
money and they're
yeah.
barely keeping you alive, at one point you are that caged animal that fights back. At one point you go, that's it. I
Yeah,
can't.
look, I don't
I'm not going to live
disagree
this
with
way.
you, Javier. I don't disagree with you, but I think it's just a matter of foreign policy and geopolitical strategy that has a higher priority than the short-term happiness of your citizens.
Well,
I don't think I think that's the angle the U.S. is playing with, and they
I
want to
think the U.S.
consolidate
is
their
fine.
power.
I think the U.S. What was it that I read, and I don't know if this is true or not, or I don't can't even remember, where they've been basically stacking up the Bitcoin. Do I believe it? Hell yeah! Do I believe they were part of the
Oh,
creators as much as I
oh.
possibly can believe? Yeah, I think that they are not only into the Bitcoin, but into the more important coins, which
Well,
is the
let's
Litecoin
be
and
honest
the
and let's be
Digibyte.
real. Let's be
Let
real. The person that created Bitcoin, or people that created
let me
Bitcoin,
know.
most probably, I would argue they're American.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably in our politics. Probably maybe Greenspan. He seemed to be a computer
No.
whiz. Yeah, he took
Yeah.
that time off when it came out. I mean, I don't know. These are rumors that I've always heard. I'm not sure, but I'm sure that we've got our hands way. This game is being played, and we've been manipulated the whole time. And you know what? Some people are still going to win in spite of that. uh,
Well, you know
Sadly enough
what?
to say, I'm seeing too many people focusing on one coin that does something very, very well, but you're not looking at the bigger picture. You're not looking outside the box. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice
Well,
or
it's very
anything.
difficult to do that. You think so? I mean, how would you look outside of the box, Clint, Dave? How would you do that?
Well, let me
Well,
back up a little bit. I'm gonna back. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm gonna ramble for a little bit. So back back up to where, hey, we need something transparent. We need something we can trust. Again, it goes back to what you've always said, Javier. We need the rules defined. Okay, I think we have an opportunity with cryptocurrency because it is on the blockchain. Now, given that, look at what happened with silver, with the ETFs, with silver. I mean, they say they have it. Do they really have it? Can you take delivery when you want it? Well, here's the difference, though, I see with cryptocurrency. Can they repeat the same thing, how they manipulated silver with crypto? I think they're doing it right now. I mean, I think you're seeing it because look at the exchanges, what they do. They're pulling coins off into different wallets. I mean, they're scooping these things up when the price is low. Just the other day, we had a ruling that said, hey, Grayscale, it looks like they're in the clear. The SEC, they can't do it. They can't stop them from doing it, court ruling. And then today we see the SEC come out and say, okay, fine, counterpunch. We're going to whack down the crypto market back to where it was before the announcement. And they did that. If you look at what happened today, all these ETFs that had already applied, they're saying, you got to wait 45 more days. No, we're going to make you wait and see. So they string it out. Why are they stringing it out? I think there's a timeline. I think that that's the opportunity that people who are making the decisions and taking possession of it are taking possession of it at a lower price before the floodgate opens. And so at some point, if we have ETFs that are spot ETFs, that are legitimately spot ETFs, and where, hey, they got 1 million Litecoin in here. Hey, there's 1 million over here in this one, 1 million over there. You start doing the math and you're like, wait a minute. I see all the wallets. I know how many Litecoin are locked up, and these numbers don't add up, or they do add up. And see, that takes the people getting involved into it and more people understanding those assets and just running the math. I mean, it's pretty simple, really, is what it comes down to. But with silver, you can't do that because nobody wants to take possession of the silver. Like, this is a pain in the ass. This stuff's too heavy. I mean, I just rather leave my 5,000 ounces sitting there in a contract or something. Whereas with crypto, it's very easy to take possession. It's very easy to audit.
But here's the thing, same with silver, same with everything else. We could shut down ETF Bitcoin. They can't shut down the Bitcoin you have in your wallet, the Litecoin you have in your wallet.
No,
the Digi.
that's already
So
gone.
they could shut it down, the ETF.
All
of a sudden, we've seen them shut down exchanges. So not only that, not only we've seen them, we could shut. If we don't use their exchanges and we find a way to work peer-to-peer or find a better way, we shut them down. And whoever had their money in each, put it this way, Clint, what's going to happen to the people that hold paper silver right now?
Well, exactly. They're going to get digits on a screen because we can't deliver the silver. Here's some CBDCs.
Well, we can't do. That's what I think would happen, because if we get pissed off enough, we could just go, it's only the people that hold the truth. This is what you started off with, Steak. You don't hold it, you don't own it. Make sure you have it in your own wallet. And that's the important part, that we're still spreading that news to hold it, but more so.
Javier, you said, how do you look outside of the box? Because so many people are invested only in one or maybe two projects. And I think, that's why I like these live streams that Dave hosts, because, we hash it out. We occasionally do various, coins, and we can do multiple tokens also in the future. And actually, spread some knowledge, like what is happening. Like, we've been talking about proof of work UTXOs for a while now, and we named a Bitcoin, a Litecoin, a Digibyte. There's a few more, and maybe Dogecoin will do something as well and will be relevant in that discussion. We haven't really talked about like true Web3, like Filecoin or Stacks or Freefold. We haven't really like not marketing Web3, that's venture capitalist NFT bullshit, like actual new internet. We haven't really talked about ISO 20022 compliant coins. There's a shit ton of those that we could go into. I'm not going to name all of them. And then we've got like the AI tokens that are coming. And then there's also the whole angle of who owns what intellectual property. We've been talking about Reggie Middleton for a few times now with Veritasium, but there's also Greg Wright. You might not like him, but Nchain has has a lot of patents. I read a few of them. I think most of them are really vague, but I'm sure that something will stick, as we've seen with some lawsuits already. So I think Bitcoin Satoshi vision, even though I don't think he's Satoshi at all, I do think there is some value there from like an investment point of view. And then there's probably some outsiders that everyone is glossing over. Maybe some bullshit project that have just been, trucking it since 2011 or 12 or 13 or 14 in the background that no one notices, and that all of a sudden will just get out there and do a 10,000x. Those kind of things that will probably be worthwhile to discuss. But most of the people in these spaces that I see, at least on Twitter or Telegram or Reddit, I don't understand it, but they, like the vast majority, 95% outside of like the common names, they're just
No,
in
they're
shit.
gamblers. They're
They're
gamblers.
just
man.
in
They're,
shit, like absolute shit coins, like
they're
really
gamblers,
shit
and they're gonna.
projects.
They just
They
make
It's
it
no
like
up.
it's like
fundamentals.
going to
Smart
the
contract it
casino.
into existence. They just go
Yeah,
poof.
it's like
There's
going. It's
420
like going into
trillion.
that casino and gambling. You've
It's
got
like
people that know how to play blackjack or play a game where there is better chance for them, and then there's other
yeah, but
people that
it's
are
sad,
just
right?
there to
It's sad,
deposit their money. Yeah,
It
it
is.
really
and
truly
it's a
is.
lot of
But we're
new
not going to
money.
change that part of the world,
Well,
Steak.
Javier,
What I
there's a lot of new money in there, which I mean, like people that are coming to the space for 1 or 2 years, and they go in that Shiba or they go into that Pepe token,
we know.
or even some other bullshit, and then, mind you, once we get real adoption and of course we only will get that through regulation, and regulation will shut down some of the fuckery. But there always will be some asshole predators that will still create some bullshit to prey
Yeah,
on it. But
but
the
Steak,
space
we
of the,
know
wait
those
wait wait wait
people.
wait the people that will no but the people that will eventually join this this market in 25, 26, 27 onwards, like your early adapters, right? Those aren't the stupid people necessarily. The level of intellect will go down massively. Like if you look at like what crypto was about, and I've read or read back to like the Bitcoin forums, and the discussions that people were having pre 2014 and afterwards, it was very technical, like very, very technical. And then it got less and less technical over the years, and I think eventually it will be dumbed down completely. And we're
That
still in that pioneer phase. So it
that
just
Bitcoin
has me
doesn't
a little bit.
exist anymore. That
No,
Bitcoin
it
that you're
doesn't.
talking about doesn't exist right now.
But
We
it
are
does make me a
so.
little bit.
Well, the spirit of that Bitcoin, I guess.
Thank you,
It, it,
thank you.
it
You
makes
know what?
Yeah,
Thank you for clarifying
yeah,
that, Clint.
yeah.
The spirit of that.
Right.
But
I just
yeah,
wanted to say,
we knew people that lost six. I know people that have
right.
lost 6 and 7 figures in this game, and you know what? We all knew what the game was. If there's yield, if there's chance, if you're making
Hmm.
money, there's going to be people that are going. And I'm sorry, there's always going to be the higher risk that want that higher reward. And guess what? When you go to the casino and you put your money down and you didn't do absolutely all your home, and some of it is extremely misleading, but you still lose and you learn your lesson, and maybe that's the value in that person. I agree, Steak, that, but I think that there's not that
With what?
many of us in there. I agree with trying to help these people, but right now, those people, give me another Pepe coin, and I'm going to show you a whole lot of people that are jumping on that shiny new object. And
We just got to get there faster,
we can't,
and so we can dump on
exactly.
everybody. That's basically
So
the
we could
game.
go and get it and dump, and those days are coming. I think that maybe here in
Well, what I
October we
wanted
may
to
see
say is
some
that
of those.
I'm a little bit skeptical of like. Let me rephrase it differently. I think there's much less people in the proof of work UTXO, ISO, intellectual property, AI coins, Web3 coins, the actual ones that matter, than that we think there are. I think that group of people is a lot smaller. Maybe not Bitcoin. Bitcoin's pretty big, and Ethereum too. But apart from that, like some OG Bitcoiners probably got some Litecoin too, of course, and some XRP. But I mean, apart from that, like it's getting really thin, like
Let me
really,
put
really thin. So
let me
what
put
I'm
something.
trying to say, Javier, wait a little bit, please. What I'm trying to say is that if we see like the entire crypto space, that's like maybe 3% or 4% of the general population that does a little bit in crypto, I would argue that only 1% of that is actually in the projects that matter.
I agree with you, but let's go on to IP. Right now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a bunch of top companies fighting for that position that they hold patents that other people are using. So that's securing some of these older patents, some of these Reggie Middleton patents that may be obligated because you can't pick and choose on your patent parts. And so I think that once we get to that point, and I wish I could elaborate more. Hopefully, maybe I will reach out to Reggie, or maybe Blind Dave. I think he knows this. I will reach out and bring him to where he can explain it a lot better than I am. I'm trying to let them know that once we start following everybody's patents, guess what? We got to follow his patents because that is a U.S. patent. And at that point, does he have enough meat and potatoes on his patent to be able to go, we're going to follow it? Now governments need to be paying. Not every, but governments and everybody else needs to be paying. You know,
it's
rightfully
not really the point that I was trying to make, and I get your angle, but I think that's a very different subject. And to add to your subject, I think that many people also don't follow the legislation that's coming out, at least in the EU already, with a debate on whether they are going to go the intellectual property route or the open source route. And like it isn't that clear cut to me that intellectual property going towards the future will be as much protected as we might think it does or was in the past. So
I think if we're talking about the United States, that will be an obligation because we are the stronghold.
Well, the way the system is right now, it is, but maybe that system will change, is what I'm saying.
And I
it
don't
wouldn't
know.
Be the first time.
It doesn't it have to do with the GDP? Doesn't it have to do with the amount of money and trillions? And these are all words that I've heard, and I'm sorry that I can't orchestrate it a lot better. But if we're following one set of rules, we all have to follow. And if not, people will be left behind. I mean, you can't come up and choose what intellectual. If we can't use patents, we're screwed. Because what would give any developer a reason to develop if somebody can go steal your damn patent?
Well, maybe that developer isn't necessary anymore if you have AI.
Maybe, but at that point, I don't think AI is that close.
Oh, well, I got news for you.
And maybe you do. Like I said, I only can read and understand what I do, and this is why I try to keep up with that.
I think we're closer, a lot closer than you think we might be. I think in 5 years, which isn't a lot of time, we'll see a vastly different society.
Will AI make this a lot fairer, or will it still be rigged for the same?
Look, Javier. Intellectual property, if you really slam it thin, is there to protect the inventor.
Sure.
It's to make sure that there is an incentive for an invention, so that you know that if you spend your life in a life's work to better society, that you can get your dividends from it. But if you have, say, you have unlimited intellect in artificial intelligence, why would you still want to go with that model?
Because we don't know who would control it. And put it this way, for seashells to be worth anything, the community has to agree that we are willing to deal in seashells. If the community has been screwed and we are back in the old ages where the king and the queen are the only ones that are rich and their group of people, the rest of the people are starving to death, that's how they stop and revolt. And I've been watching a lot of time period movies, so that's what I'm relating to. But I understand how it works. You can't have 99% of the people starving to death. You can't do that. And they go, because who is willing to do that job for the few? So if you're telling me that AI, the people that control AI, are going to make it fair at first and then change it later down the road, okay, I can go for that. But you're not going to come up with AI and start screwing us from the very beginning, because as soon as we realize we're being screwed, I'm going right back to get what happened during this egg thing, that egg problem we had. We had an egg shortage, everybody went and bought chickens. And we solved that damn problem. Because the true problem is food and staying
So,
alive long enough.
Javier, let me lay
Fuck
it
the
down
investor.
differently for you. Let me lay it down a little bit more abstract. And I'm going to extrapolate a little bit towards the future. And I'm hearing a lot of your microphone, by the way, but I hope other people don't have an issue with it. But if you have the combination of AI, which is a software model for different things, not just large language models, but everything in AI, and you have quantum computing, which is a hardware accelerator, and you combine those two, you have like almost unlimited intellect and creative ability. That's one. Thinking power. Now you have, maybe in 2 decades from now, or 2.5 or 3, you might have fission, and you might have unlimited energy. And then you combine that with robotics, Boston Robotics, and other robotics, and you might have unlimited power, physical power. Then you have unlimited energy, unlimited physical power, and unlimited creativity.
Like I said, I'm impressed, and I think that all that's coming.
Droids and
Is it
stormtroopers, baby. That's your future.
Yeah, but when is it? Is that 5 years? In other words, Jesus, I'm trying to live probably here in the next 3 to 5 years. That's as far as I could see out. And I'm sure all this is coming in the I've heard about the quantum computing. I've heard about the AI. I don't know what the hell anybody's going to do. I'm going to tell you, I'm retired now, and I'm totally lost. I don't know what the hell to do with myself, because there's nothing for me to do anymore. I'm looking for a project to go into. But other than that, we need to understand that we have to have, unless we plan, is it true that they're going to eliminate trillions or billions of people? I mean, that's the only solution. You can't have a bunch of just,
If they're going to eliminate
feeders?
Trillions of people, they first
billions
need
of
to
people?
make trillions of people.
No, that's what I'm saying. I meant billions.
I don't think they will, and I don't think they will, and I don't think that's the goal.
So
I
they
don't
just
think that's
store
the
us in
goal
a
at all.
warehouse. They store us in our warehouse for our mental attention, so they could just
No.
harvest which attention.
No.
I mean, I don't understand. But if
I know.
we get to the point where we don't work, then what's giving us the incentive to freaking do anything? It's hard for me to get the hell out of the house right now when I'm retired.
Javier, work isn't supposed to give you fulfillment of life at all. Like work used to be what philosophers would say would be enslavement. Like if you could detach yourself from work, that's when you start living. That's been our viewing point forever in work. Work was never meant, Javier, work was never meant to give you fulfillment. Life is supposed to give you fulfillment. So to answer your question, like what the fuck is people going to be doing? We're probably going to be doing 2 things. We're probably going to be doing a lot of creative shit, because we're going to do artsy stuff. And you know, in the vast realm of what that word means. And we're going to do science.
Great.
So everyone is becoming a scientist or an artist.
Great state.
Those things are left.
I'm going to tell you who's going to pick up your trash, because nobody wants to do that job.
A robot.
Droids.
A robot.
Okay, so who's going to be the doctor?
Droids.
And who's going to be, okay, now we have the plane. So now at this particular time, we do not do we're back to just being, and I would love for that time.
Have you ever realized maybe you'll have a nano swarm in your body, and that's your doctor. You'll have a 24/7 doctor in your body.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I guess I could fix up.
And you know the thing is, if you look at like if you look, yeah, maybe if you look at like the whole technology thing that's happening, like these things sound very far-fetched, but what the fourth industrial revolution is doing, and blockchain is one element of it, and AI is another element of it, and quantum computing is another element of it, but synthetic biology is also another element of it. And we can look at like blockchain, but we always look at the money in how does it position in the world, and what will the new world look like. And you have to look a little bit further than just saying blockchain is going to replace old to new, and that's it. But the new will be different than what the old was. Like, you don't need the same infrastructure in the new economy because many things will be automized. So you need to really understand, like, where is it going? Like, and on what timeline? So eventually, if we go back to intellectual property, that's an angle I struggle with. I think that maybe for this cycle it will probably hold up, probably, but I don't know how fast they are. I don't know. There's a lot of fuckery right now with the U.S. military, like LK-99 coming out, all those UAP things that supposedly are doing insane shit with airplanes, as if they've been going on behind the scenes for decades, and that innovation is now coming out. You won't need a middle class to create innovation if you already created the innovation through the military industrial complex research and development. So maybe that's the answer the US has. Like, if you fuck over the middle class, then that doesn't matter because we already sorted out the innovation for the next couple of decades. It's just
But
it's
without
just
the
so
middle
difficult
class,
to
steak. I
comprehend
mean, come
what's
on.
happening.
Without the middle class,
Well, you said it. We might
What if
be going towards a feudal system.
yeah,
I mean, it
I
could
don't
go that
understand.
way.
I
It could
don't.
go that way. It depends, how the technology's used. I mean, you could have, the Star Wars droid fleet army, that comes out and enslaves everybody. Or you could have, think of it this way. You used to have people that go down to the river and cut blocks of ice out and deliver it into people's homes to keep the food cold. Well, now
Right.
you've got a droid, a machine in your kitchen called a refrigerator that just makes the ice. So it eliminated all that labor. And so there's all those things on the positive side that are going to happen to, when you think of all the things that we've got now that make life easier. If it can continue to do that in the positive side of the coin, that's a wonderful place to be. Then we can focus on arts and literature, and all the wonderful things.
I agree with you, but you got to keep going. You got to keep going.
Will the technology be used to enslave, or will it be used to free?
Thank you. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to get to.
If you've got free energy, or everybody's got like a device that can suck energy out of the atmosphere and create.
So you think that
the problem with that, Flint, is that you have something, a phenomenon, which is called right now, it's called accelerationism, which is like a philosophy on this aspect that basically states that if you're not going to invent it, someone else will.
Yeah,
but who's going to invent it? Why would you? Why would you invent anything? Why would you do anything if there is no reward to you inventing?
It's a human spirit just to do it. Why do you climb a mountain? Just because you want to?
Exactly. But at one point, somebody has to. We could keep breaking it down to where we got a drone that delivers it, but who made that drone? Okay, another robot. Eventually, you have to have somebody that programmed it. Why is that guy going to work?
Maybe the AI programs it.
Who built the pyramids?
Then, at this point, why would they want? Do you think that the people that are in charge now are going to go, look, man, I got a bunch of puppies here. I'm so happy with all my puppies. I just want them to do whatever the hell they want. Let me ask you this. Is there going to be any law and order? Is there going to be any, are we destined to our future to where they're going to say, you're going to do this on Monday, this on Tuesday, because you can't have it both ways. You can't come up and go, you're going to have a kumbaya moment where you're on the beach and everything else. Everybody's going to be on the beach. Somebody's got to pick up the trash on the beach. Go ahead.
Can anyone hear me? Okay.
Yes.
You can hear me? Because I'm cutting out a little bit. Okay. Look, no one knows the future. Neither do I. We can make educated guesses. But what we do know is that younger generations have a much easier way of complying with this whole digital infrastructure than we have, because we look at it through the lens of like what government could do and the fuckery that could exist. But younger generations aren't really aware of it. So the question is, are we going to have that? Probably. You know, history doesn't repeat, but it sure rhymes,
Yeah, they need
or
it.
something along
Well,
that manner.
they need it because they don't know how to change a light bulb right now.
I mean,
you
think
don't
about
need
it.
to. You have a robot.
I talk
Exactly.
right, and I talked about look at your phone. Look at, you do your banking on your phone. You don't have to memorize telephone numbers anymore. Everything's like there. It handles it. So we've kind of given ourselves over to that,
Exactly.
like it or not,
You
to
don't have to memorize your telephone
technological
numbers.
age. No, nobody knows anybody's number anymore. No, you know your family's numbers. You're like, dial it. You know,
100%. Like I said,
what happens. And I mean,
I agree. I was just hashing it out. I want to get further down
I get it,
into
man.
this.
Yeah, and this
into
is
this.
this is the philosophical debate that we always have as humans when progress comes along, and it's like, okay, is it going to enslave us? Is it gonna free us? And I mean, we're already, I think, naturally we want things to be easier and more efficient, and that's just kind of how we are. That's why we invent things. It's like, hey, can we do this better? Can we make that easier to where we're not out there digging the ditch? We got a backhoe now. Yeah, cool. I like the backhoe.
Well,
you know, like
but we're acting like there's very few people. There's how many people in China? 10 times the amount of people in China that there are in the United. There's in the continent of Africa. There's a lot of people, and nobody's going to work. You're telling me, no, nobody. We're all going to be drinking Mai Tais on the beach. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe. Now you're breaking up, Dave.
I am. My connection is really poor. Like, things go gradually. Things go gradually.
I mean, I could see it.
You
And
know,
I could see
just
them
like-
controlling the birth rate.
Yeah.
Where they're not. We don't. It's not eliminating people. It's just the birth rate will not be there. Is that what they did with us with the vaccine?
I think
I don't think.
Let's hear from Dave.
Is what?
Let's hear from Dave.
I was saying, I think a lot of this is fear porn.
Yeah, I agree.
I see it as more of a back to basics moment of blockchain.
Except I don't really get off on it, to be very honest.
And then I also see it as residual income, like your Cardanos and your Tezoses, that sort of stuff. So
that's very few of us, Dave.
Or just your blockchain coins, your UTXOs, you know, I mean, because that will be, I mean, think about it. It could be, you know, you got a mountain of gold here, you know, one Bitcoin.
It's what we have in our wallets.
Yeah, right. What do you have that you can use? And I mean, they may last you forever. Just like you're talking about $1 million, you could live off that the rest of your life.
Right, but
maybe
I mean,
one Bitcoin's all you need in the future. But I get what you're saying, Dave. There's multiple facets.
We could sit here and be hypothetical on if this, then that, you know, and they could control us and, you know, all of this kind of other craziness. But it's too much bullshit.
I think it's too early. Well, you know, I think that it's going to happen, but not in this lifetime.
Stick with what you know. Stick with what you know, and whatever you decide to research, and you decide you want to invest a little of your portfolio. Learn how to adjust your portfolio to what it is like your risk tolerance. Learn to measure your own risk tolerance. Don't put everything you got into this other thing that no one's ever heard of. I mean, that makes no sense as an investor. I mean, what I was saying earlier is I don't see it as 500 different ETFs that are going to launch a Bitcoin and then an Ethereum and a Litecoin and a Digibyte. I don't see it that way. I see it as more as like the FTSE 100. So I don't know. Are we going to have the HODL 100? You know, the top 100 of coin market cap? I don't know. I think so. That's where I think that this is going to go.
Well, that's, you know what? And that's very...
White noise is just that. It's just white noise.
And so far right now, for the people that are like,
maybe we should do...
My coin is in the top 100. Look, that could be bullshit. There's a lot of coins in that top 100 that are bullshit. So just be aware that just because you see a price of $30,000 Bitcoin doesn't mean that that's only
Well, look
worth
no further
that
than the Dow. Look no further than the
U.S.
Dow. The Dow Industrial is only based on 30 individual equities. That's it. The Dow is not representative of everything within the New York Stock Exchange.
No, and then they kick them out when they're not performing
Right.
well enough and put a better one in.
Say one of those assets is not performing. Well, then exactly. They kick out. They'll move and they'll get rid of Enron and bring in MasterCard.
Yeah.
Just as as an example. I mean, but yeah, they just keep moving the goalposts to whatever narrative it is that they wish to do. Right now I say bring back a Paul Volcker, but we're not ready to do that because we can't even service the damn interest on it.
Yeah, he smokes cigars and raised the rates, baby. Anyway,
we got a bunch of them.
We brought Kissinger back from the fucking dead. Why not bring Paul Volcker back?
There's a bunch of them. There's a Minucha. There's shit. There's plenty of people that come up.
But this cycle I see as a more back to basics. Last cycle we were drowned out by NFTs and DeFi, and Web3 and all of this, which is really Web2 with a fucking plug-in. It's not Web3. It's not the reinvention of you're not Web3. You're Web2 with a plug-in. That's not the internet redesigned. So anyway.
No, Dave, I think you're right, because when you look at the ETFs, I mean, that's kind of telling you right now. They're trying to put these things in. They want to put them in, but they're kind of stonewalling and stalling. I see the ETFs as kind of the first foray into it, to where it's like, okay, these are the things that you can hold. These are the things that anybody can now get into. And I really see the ETFs as being nothing more than a money sponge to help transfer wealth into the digital system. And then you go into these multiple, like we're talking, besides just the money coins, that are going to be in the ETFs, you go into the technological coins, all these different things that go from that point. But I think that's kind of the first, like you said, it's gradual, Steak. I mean, that's kind of the first foray to where they want to put those things in place to where we can get the old money investing in the new money and having a base of value up at that top level, to where, okay, this is where the money's at. These are the coins. There's Bitcoin, then Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, these kind of things. And there is a finite supply of those things. So having those, and do I think that an ETF is a good thing to put your money into? No, you should hold it in your own possession. I mean,
I disagree. I disagree with you.
But that's okay. Hang on. But I'll let you tear me up. But what you've got, though, is the ability for all these pensions, all these different funds to invest in these things and basically extrapolate their wealth over into this new digital system with these big coins that'll soak that all up. And then you got all the other ones and so on. But I think that's the first level.
In theory, I agree with you. Will I be getting ETFs? Hell yeah.
No.
And this is why I'm saying it, because I'm playing a different game than most. I want to be liquid.
Path, man.
I want to get my FU money, and I've already played this game, Clint. We both played this game with silver. How long have they manipulated? So I want that easy. Right now, I went in and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna get rid of a coin and let me go see if they'll give me spot." They wouldn't give me spot for a coin that I wanted to get rid of. This game, if you're in early on the ETFs and once it's safe, yeah, I will go up to my bank, and if they're offering Bitcoin and I'm getting a check from the government, I'm going to go, "Thank you very much. Go ahead and convert it into Bitcoin." Because for the short term, Clint, I think that it'll be easier for me to liquidate. It'll be more explainable. I don't have to do I don't have to go into my personal wallet. I could just ride that pony out. And will I go? Yeah, because I have enough experience. It's not that it's a good thing, and I don't think that people should. I'm saying it almost as a controversial thing, as I'm doing it because of the easier access. I have cash in the bank, and I could move it into so they could follow me into my storage. No, I'm going to say, go ahead and put it in Bitcoin. Just on PayPal, whatever the hell.
Is, will you put it all in there, though?
none
Well,
of
and
Right.
that,
none of
No, I
my
know. I didn't think
savings.
you were. I'm just throwing it out there because it is.
What
It
I'm
makes it
trying to
easy
do
to move it,
is let the
but
people know that this is a game, and these are all the avenues you should. If you have an income and you don't need that money, well, then that's not necessary. But to me, let me ask you this: if you have no choice, Clint, you have fiat that is being devalued and them printing, or you could do it on an ETF. That's your only choice.
yeah, I mean, you got to take the lesser of two evils. That's always the choice we have, you know. And so
And then you can go liquid. If you make money, you go liquid. If you don't, we
yeah.
already know this game. You don't lose until you cash out your check. I mean, until you cash out your chips, you haven't lost. So it went down. Hold on to it. Hopefully, it wasn't money that you needed to use that week. And if it is, well, sometimes you lose to win at the end. And I don't want to encourage that, but I also want to be able to say we need to see this completely openly, because maybe this is the trick to getting ahead. The easy in and out, because right now I saw the pain in the ass it was to go and change a coin. One coin, I went through a pain in the ass. Yes, I could have offered it to somebody else, but I needed the money today, and I went and did that right now. And we got to go. We got to fill out some paperwork, and that paperwork says that they can give it to the sheriff at any time. I don't really give a shit. There's nothing for me to hide. It wasn't enough money to really warrant that, but they are giving you a piece of paper that you need to sign that lets them know that this could go right directly. There is no KYC in your gold and silver unless we do this peer to peer,
yeah, that
and
goes straight to the alphabet soup. That's right
that
where
goes
that goes.
straight to the
That
alphabet. Whoever it does, it didn't matter to me. It's not. It wasn't a big, huge amount. It was just for me to have my pocket money, and I needed that just for whatever transactions that I do. And I'm wanting to. I don't want to scare the people because I know that there's a lot of new people. Understand what I'm saying, and if you don't, ask Clint when he's on his spaces, and maybe he can explain it better what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to play a game. It's a riskier game. If I have a choice to put it into a wallet without them following, I'll open up a new wallet and have a solid coin. I will. But right now, if I need to be liquid and have pay my bills, do whatever, I'll just leave it in that
well,
ETF.
that was my purpose this cycle, right? So the previous cycle, I worked as the blind cookie boy. I didn't need that money to survive, so I invested it all into crypto. Because what were my other choices? Y'all said it earlier. These other people are looking around. There are no other assets that are worth buying right now, other than real assets. And so now I'm this cycle, my focus was to increase my dollar cost average, or really to increase my revenue. So that's what I was in search of, and that's what I've gone after now. And I'm, I don't know, maybe a month away from succeeding in that goal of increasing my dollar cost average, or basically my revenue. um, and that ultimately will be my dollar cost average into crypto by running a business, and all the those proceeds from that business will go 100% into crypto. Same thing with my Social Security disability income. When they offer me a CBDC, absolutely, Gresham's law takes over. Get rid of the bad currency and give me the good. That's what I want.
It is.
and and
That's
see,
what I'm
you're ahead of
hoping
the
to do.
game though. You're ahead of the game though because we do this all the time right now because like you said, Javier, we can take it and put it in fiat, knowing the end game. Look at the chart. The creation of fiat. We're talking about M2. We're talking about the creation,
Yeah.
and so we make those decisions. It's just a lot of people aren't making that decision, and we're just trying to tell them, hey, maybe you
Yeah.
want to look at this other stuff. And like you said, just a little bit. Dave, look what you did. Blind cookie boy. You couldn't have made a lot of money doing that, making cookies. But you took that and you put it into something that, wow, this has a lot of potential. I understand kind of the math and the numbers here. I think I'm going to put what little I have into that, and it pays off very well just because as adoption occurs, as more people come into it and more of those coins are absorbed. I mean, Price has got to
but
go up. It's going
the
to
truth
sponge up
is,
fiat.
the truth is that it only takes one coin to go flipping nuts. And yes,
That's it.
I do hold many. The thing is that even back in like 2016, 2017, if you bought $1,000 worth of Ant shares, it turned into $1 million worth of Neo. If you bought $1,000 worth of Populous, it turned into $1 million worth of Populous. If you bought $1,000 worth of Ethereum at $7, what is that worth to you today? I mean, so it's just in every cycle, it's rinse and repeat.
Yep.
And then so
Well, and I'm going to tell y'all guys, there's a lot of great coins out there that are working extremely hard that have not stopped working, and I can't see them working, putting in so much time for a bullshit coin, for a FUD coin, or for a FOMO coin. They're out there too much, and some of them are so undervalued. It's absolutely
Well, and
incredible.
again, that's why this last cycle of 21, I was more so expecting a repeat of 2017, where $1,000 in yields you $1 million return, and I did not experience that this last cycle, but I came kind of close in theta, but Digibyte right behind that, as far as in trading. As far as ROI, return on investment, but I see it like in the not too distant future. Hopefully, it will be a panic to own, and I think that the profits there are going to surprise everyone, because again, we are less than 1/10,000th the population currently. If an ETF does come in, what does that mean? If BlackRock, what is BlackRock's what is their market share? What is their market cap? And say they designate 1% of that, or just say they designate 5% of that investment capital to go into a Bitcoin ETF, or a HODL
Every
100. Say
every
there's a HODL
1%.
100, and that 5% then goes into crypto of the HODL 100.
Every 1% of the bit of BlackRock's allocation of their portfolio represents about 420K in price increase in dollar in Bitcoin.
Okay, and that's only one major player. Now multiply
And
that
that's
by
only 1%.
And I believe that they want a smooth transaction. And how do they give us a smooth transaction? Everybody's winning. On the way up, you're
No one's
buying at
winning.
a ridiculous price.
No.
You don't think so?
Yeah,
I don't know.
no. Not everyone is winning. Not at all. Like, how many people out there right now that aren't in crypto or blockchain are thinking about, gee, I got to invest in Bitcoin? I mean, we see the addresses changing and going up, like new addresses are coming there. Maybe it's multi-sig, maybe it's exchanges, but we see some people like joining the space and being new. But right now, it's not really, fresh faces aren't really coming in when things go bad, because most people only, when they're new, they react on FOMO, right? When there will be like mass media having a headline, Bitcoin 100K, that's when people are going to be like, wow, I should really
Yeah,
invest and buy
I'm
some
missing
Bitcoin.
out. I got to get in. I got to
Yeah,
get in
and
now. I've
maybe
heard about it. I got to get in.
maybe it's actually a good price too, but I don't think we're going to go to 100K. I think we might actually go blast right through 100K. Like if the ETF gets approved,
Right.
that's going to be the main driver, because before that, the government printing money isn't going to come in neither. So it's last time we got like 65K BTC without like institutional money, and we need the institutional money to get like the next zero in market cap. But once that really happens with like the big players, the BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, just like Dave said, like, that's only one.
add three
I think we're,
zeros.
I
Add
think
three
I
zeros.
think I think it's not too far fetched that starting from probably like peak bull cycle in 2025, March, April, or something. I don't think it's very weird to say that we could be looking anywhere between a 500K to a 2 million Bitcoin. And imagine what that would do for
It
a
should be.
Litecoin or a Digibyte when one of those two projects actually increases in SATs too.
Correct.
Like
Well, it should
we
be
might
Steak.
should be
As
what?
much as they've printed, we should, not only us, the rest of the damn world, as much as everybody's freaking printing, what the hell is the price? Break it down into when we did
Javier,
have
what
Well, the
I'm trying to
velocity of
say,
money is
no, not
velocity
what
of
I'm trying
money
to.
is not taking place yet.
How many people will actually be able to still buy it? Maybe they'll only be able to buy a paper Bitcoin. Like maybe no one will be able to buy it. Maybe BlackRock is so big that any Bitcoin that gets mined, they immediately want to buy it. Like everywhere, like every single thing that comes on the market, they want to have it. Like immediately, exchange go bust, we buy the exchange. Like people want to sell their Bitcoin, I want it. And you want Bitcoin, you want to buy Bitcoin from BlackRock, you get paper Bitcoin. But the actual asset, I buy it, I get it, I stock it. You get an IOU, I get the actual asset.
How many are left?
And
How many are left, Clint?
not a lot.
No, there's
Exactly.
less than 2 million to be mined in the next 100 years. And
Yeah, and
so
what do you think
how
about
much is
the
out there?
block rewards? What do you think about the block rewards with the halving getting less and less? I mean, every 4 years, I mean, it's going to get so scarce at some point that look, we'll notice it in the near future. I'm talking about a few decades, but we'll have a block reward that will probably be 0.1 BTC. And that will actually mean something. That means that if you hold 0.1 BTC, that will mean something. That let alone 1 BTC, or let alone 10 or 100. Like the amount of wealth you got is fucking nuts right now. If you look at like how much you can buy in right now, it's incredibly insane. But I don't think that many people will be able to buy in the actual asset in a few years, which begs the question: like, if we are like only like 1 or 2% of the 3% that adopted this shit, we're actually the 0.03% of retailers that surf that same wave that the aristocracy does, and they probably don't like it, but they're like, oh, okay, collateral damage, sure, some guys will get rich, good for you, kudos. But the system is just going to do what the system does, and some of us will get rich of it. But I think this is probably maybe the only time you can actually properly invest in it, and the rest will just be IOUs.
Well,
Yeah,
that
it'll be on a
and
platform, that
and
you can't get it
as
out.
well as the residual income aspect of a few different proof of stake models like Cardano and Tezos. So, I mean, y'all said it earlier, back in the day, $1 million into a CD yielding 7% would give you 70,000 annual as revenue of interest just to live off of that million. I think the future is there for us in crypto as well with some of these residual income projects.
Probably, yeah, and that's how they want it, because then they control it, and they're like, yeah, sure, I'll pay you off to control you. I mean, and so what is actually valuable? Do you know what's actually valuable and scary as fuck? If you have 1,000 organized, or even more, 10,000 or 100,000 organized, UTXO people on Twitter or on any other social media channel that say, you know what, let's fucking exchange today. Let's all 100,000 of us fuck one exchange today. Like that's the actual, real threat to it. That they want to eventually, they don't want that. That could actually pose a threat to like stability. But as far as the rest, I think that might be the reason why we don't really see a lot of communities coming off the ground. For some reason, it's like the only digital space I've ever been in my life where hardly any communities is able to come off the ground. Everyone is just like a one-man army. It's and we make it work, but like everything is getting, I don't know, it gets imploded.
I don't see a lot. I agree with you, Steak. I don't see a lot of these spaces really bringing out the information. It's still. I go to spaces all the time. It's still pepperelli for this, which lets me know that we have a very immature market, that we are here, that most of the people here, I don't know, it's 1% of 0.00%. I have no idea percentage wise, but most of the people are, they have no fucking clue of what the hell's going on here. And
They don't.
we're trying to educate them, but I don't see our kind of spaces getting the attention for the information that is being informed. Maybe we're not doing it right, but it's just
it's
like
not
there's a
like that.
lack of interest.
It's not. No, I
Go
don't
ahead.
think there's a lack of interest at all. I don't think that. I completely disagree. I just think it's.
I think it's more of people waiting for the shark to bite them on the ass.
No, maybe, but it's just there's so much distraction. There's just so much
I agree with
distraction.
that.
Dave, what
I
you
mean,
need to
look,
do, we need to pull tarot cards and predict the next big crypto. You know, that's going to be the title. Say, what is the only one crypto to own in this bull cycle? You know, and read tarot cards, and then we'll predict it.
oh
And
no,
then we'll get 7,000 views.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
Maybe
I'm
you
just
could.
saying,
Maybe
because that's what activates people.
Listen, I'll throw chicken bones and I'll read them, but I'm
Right.
not doing no tarot card.
I could do
After I eat the
tea.
chicken, I'm not gonna fucking do it without eating.
But people like
Go
the
ahead,
juice.
But
They
Dave.
want the
in
excitement.
all
You know
honesty,
what I mean?
in all honesty, I think that I think the vast majority isn't paying attention. We know that. I mean, Reggie often cited that not many people do due diligence in crypto. I agree. I really agree. Look, I'm by no means a professional or an expert. I'm so new in this whole thing. The only way that I know how to do like a market analysis or due diligence is through like legislation and looking up people and reading out resumes and what the fuck they're doing. But if you combine that with like a little bit of fundamentals and technicalities, and you combine it then with like financial TA and where it's positioned, you can get a fair grasp. Like you can get a fair grasp, and then you talk to people like what do you know? Like can you explain this to me? Can you share this to me? And then it makes a little bit more sense. But it's just I don't see any evidence so far that I'm wrong in what I said 2 years ago. I think legislation is coming. I think they're going to fuck the market when they are able to buy it. And I think they're going to close the on and off ramps, and they're going to kick out the little guy. And the little guy has to pay, especially those that are on the exchanges. They'll be paying. They'll be fucked. They'll buy up the exchanges. And maybe the exchanges is them in disguise right now. But once they buy them up, when they default, then they own them legally, and then they'll own them cleanly. But I read a few articles that Fidelity was in this space even to pre 2014.
Yep.
It wouldn't be too far fetched to think that J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Berkshire Hathaway, even BlackRock has been in this space for so long. Like, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Right?
And-
Why
and-
wouldn't
and-
they? What's the cost? I mean, really, with all the money they
Yeah,
have. What's the risk?
at the time it's like 100,000. Sure, go with it, roll with it. And maybe they mined since then. Maybe they did some analysis. Maybe they created some coins. Hell, maybe they created
own
even
the
a few of the
miners.
exchanges. I would argue that they own a few of those exchanges. They founded them or helped them found them, because it's very profound how those exchanges fuck the market. It's very professionally done, and it looks like some parts of Wall Street that are in play. So I just it's just
I
it
agree
has a
with you there.
signature all over it. It has a signature of Wall Street all over it, and then there's like knowing exactly where to be with like the government that then steps in and says, oh, these exchanges fucked it, for example FTX, and then we need legislation, and it plays right into the legislation hand, and we see these funds as well with politicians. And the biggest gripe that I probably have with this all is that they really take me for an idiot, and they just spit in your face and they say, these
Yeah.
motherfuckers, they don't
They
know
do.
it anyway. Well, the funny thing is, we do know, and we do see it, and that will create some sort of pendulum swing at some point, because we're not the only people that will at a certain point, when that escalates and comes together, the people that know this and have been watching it will eventually say, okay, so great, we resolved it. And they're like, yeah, we're done, right? And then retail is like, no, but just for one thing. Oh, really? One thing? Yeah, just one thing. What's that? Accountability. We kind of want to, yeah, we kind of want your head on the chopping block. That's what's next. Like what for what? Well, for this entire list, who's the scapegoat? And then the government's probably like, oh fuck, we needed to think about that too. And some poor schmuck will probably be the scapegoat. Like I don't know who it will be, but some poor schmuck will be. They'll always find someone.
Sure.
And it's just, and then business as usual, right? Because we got our CD money, and yay.
And that's what they're keeping us off balance with the next FTX and the next. We don't know. Is it Binance? Is it Coinbase? Is it this? They've led us all into these directions.
I think
You don't think they know which ones are going to win and who the winners and who the losers are? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's where I'm.
What's there to figure out? Don't we already know?
I don't know. Let us know, State. Which ones? And I agree. I think it's Binance,
What do you mean,
Coinbase.
You own them all, Javier. You're a fucking whale. You own them all.
It's the coins. It's the coins. I mean, you don't need the exchange.
I do. I
to buy
spread
the
my
coins
shit
if you
out.
got the coins.
No, put it this way. That's where I'm trying to.
Leave some for the rest of us, Javier. Jesus Christ.
Don't worry. No, it's not that I have that much. I'm a hippie, man. I'll end up being the guy that gives it all away.
The mermaids got to eat, though. You got to feed
Yeah,
the mermaids.
mermaids.
They
Mermaids
get
got to
expensive.
eat.
You got appetites.
Yeah.
And they like the
And they're
fish
not
dish.
cheap.
They
They're
like
not
that
cheap.
expensive fish dish.
They're not cheap.
Yeah. No,
but
it's all good.
No, when you say tell us, it's like, look, Bitcoin is obvious. Ethereum is obvious. Litecoin is obvious. Even Bitcoin Cash right now is obvious. I would argue Bitcoin, Satoshi Vision, and Theratatium are obvious.
And they're
I
not
would argue,
and they're not very obvious, but obvious to the people that are keep their finger on the pulse. It's people that are doing this without the emotion. Because if you're in this game with the emotion,
right
you're
now?
fucked. Yeah, I'm an emotional guy, man.
Well, let's just
I
compliment
can't
one
help
another when we're actually at the top of the bull market. Let's do it.
Thank
then.
you. Yeah,
I
hell
like
yeah,
to
I'll buy you a
uncork the
beer.
campaign only once, but it's when we and then there's like, okay, what else? And then you got like, I got two angles then of speculation. And when you say who are the winners that will be picked that are still a little bit secret, I think one angle is the coins that are connected to the bills that have been passed, which is the CHIPS Act and the infrastructure bill. I think that's one angle. Like, what's connected to that? What's connected to CBDCs? What's connected to digital identity? I think that's a fair angle to say, well, we need blockchain there, and what are the projects that do that, and is there some sort of connection between the government and those projects that try to do that? I would argue that Digibyte is among them. And for those of you that are working with Digibyte or doing something, well, I have my reasons to say that. And the dog's already crying and agreeing with me because it shares the sentiment of crying with me. And every time I say Digibyte, the dog's like, yeah, man, that's so sad. We should have a little bit more transparency there. But then you also have like the CBDC angle. I think that's a fair angle too, like with the ISO standard. So those two, on top of like UTXOs and intellectual property, is like the ISO standard and the digital infrastructure. Those would be my two bets, Javier. When you say, okay, which ones? Those. That's the way I look at it.
Damn, I don't have those. Wait just a minute. I'm gonna pull a
Yeah, get out of here.
Cliff
Go buy.
Westwood and go buy.
Go buy some.
I'm just joking, Cliff.
Actually, the market's down.
Yeah, it is. It's everybody that is listening. They'll go, man. you were having trouble buying at those prices. You were really you were having trouble, but until it happens,
It's a
we've seen them go
psychological
up.
thing.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, but
psychological.
you know, in all honesty, right? Maybe we'll see a BTC for 3K,
Good.
like
Yet
maybe only for one block.
Well, if
Yeah,
though,
right.
why I was so focused on increasing my revenue so that way I can buy more in the future.
God,
Yeah, I get that.
I
We
wanted to
all have
work on
different
increasing
strategies.
my revenue so that way I
Clint,
can acquire more crypto.
Blind Dave ain't gonna be happy till he owns the world. He's buying everything. I'm like, yeah, at least I know who the hell the guy is up there on top. So I don't care that way either.
So,
I
you know,
just
let's go a little bit back. When we say UTXOs, intellectual property, ISO standard, and like digital infrastructure coins, what do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you want to add some? Do you want to subtract some?
I would
What do you
add
think?
some to that.
All
So
right.
I would
What would
add
you
more of
add?
the residual income projects as well.
Okay.
So I mean
and me,
the ISO coins. Okay, so your XRP, your XLM, IOTA, Cardano,
XTC,
HBAR,
HBAR,
yeah,
yeah.
XDC. I mean, so
Is
yeah,
it Constellation as well?
so
compound, uh,
right, and
maker.
that's more like compound and that is getting more into patents
Fee
and
chain.
litigation that's going to be coming about. So you know your Veritasium, your compound, your BSV,
Maker.
that sort of stuff. And then you know your back to basics moment. Your Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, Bitcoin Cash, even.
What about
Even
Ravencoin?
Dash. I mean, Dash is like $25 right now. It's like
What
almost.
about Ravencoin, Dave?
I don't own any. Um, I know a few people who do a few things there, as well as like a couple other places too. So
Should we
like
do a little bit
Cardano
of a
and
deep dive
Dragon
there?
and that kind of stuff. But I
Yeah.
don't
Yes,
own any.
Steak. Go ahead. Give it to us.
Yeah,
You
go
hiding
for it.
something?
Hiding something.
No, I'm just saying. Go
You're,
give.
you're, you're,
Let
you're
us know
you're
what you know.
talking.
It's
You're
in plain
literally
sight.
talking to a picture of an S. Am I hiding something? I'm at least hiding my face. What gave it away?
Look at that S guy
Oh,
go.
oh my goodness.
Am I
Yeah,
hiding
let's.
something? I think I've been fairly transparent with what I've been digging up.
You
I've
have
been, I've
you
been
Steak. That's why I enjoy listening to what you have, and it really brings out more questions for the next time. But go
same
ahead
for
and
me,
tell us
man.
whatever you think.
What I really think is that the masses of the people are a lot stronger than they think they are, but they won't be able to rally together because they got us under the thumb. That's what I think.
With the
And
exchanges, the on and
no,
off
just the
ramps.
general outlook on society. And I think that if you, as an individual, if you're listening, if you want to better your life, you probably have to be disciplined, and you're going to have to do things uh, differently than that you're doing right now, or at least work towards it and build on top of that. And I really believe in educating yourself, and I believe in giving back to the community, and I believe in focusing on health, and I believe in growing the community, and I believe in being honest about things and just open, and also say I don't know, or this is conjecture, or this is speculation, but this is fact. And from now on, I'm going in conjecture. This is my gut feeling about it. I think that's healthy, but I also think I don't really believe in the doom and gloom, but I also don't really believe in the rainbows and unicorns. In respect of that, we're going full decentralized and we won't have a government anymore and everything will be la la land. Usually when things that are innovative happen in society, we get some sort of terrible beauty of a mixture of ideas because of different interests that get married together. So you might get I don't fucking know. You might get intellectual property on Ethereum. Like you might fucking hate it. You might fucking hate it.
Right, but why
Like
not
be like, "Gee," right?
capitalize? Why not capitalize it? I mean, look at this market. Where else can you do this? This is the only market where I can get a 15x and be pissed off.
It's true. It's true.
Exactly.
No, really.
Thank you. Very well
Put your
put,
money in the
Dave.
stock
I mean,
market, and then you're like, oh, I doubled it over the last 10 years. Cool.
no,
Yeah,
you
and
make 3%,
Dave,
5%. They're freaking out. Dave. I was there. I was
But
there
Dave,
when I
AI,
saw
but at
Dave
least
pissed off that he
improve
only
AI,
improve the
15x.
quality of your life while doing it,
Dave.
though. Do
In all
something, fix
seriousness,
something.
in
Yes.
all seriousness, I think AI will be crazier than blockchain.
By that
From
time, I
that
think
I
it'll
think
be
perspective.
more of a balance on the financial numbers of the true value of Bitcoin. I think you're right, Steak. But
I
then we
see
will know
AI
a
as
value of Bitcoin, of Litecoin, because it won't be up to the politicians. Maybe it's up to the AI. I don't know how the damn thing works.
I
I don't
see
even know what it
AI as
means.
a lot more in smart contracts. So there's a
Get rid
lot
of the
more knowledge in
lawyers.
smart
That's what that
contracts.
tells me. Get rid of the lawyers.
No, the lawyers are gone. Like if there's one thing that AI is really good at, ironically, it's getting rid of lawyers.
Yep. You have it on the
Yeah, it's
contract.
not,
The contract is the contract. And if it's
no, I mean
not,
like no, I
go
mean
ahead.
legislation is very much usually in format and is
Correct.
very much in the correct sense of using the right word to mean the right thing. And that's something a large language model is really good at. So it's very what a large, and that's just a large language model for AI. There's vastly different AIs, but large language model AIs are like the death penalty for lawyers. And not that lawyers will go away, but you'll only eventually get lawyers with large language models, with LLMs, and instead of just having lawyers. So what happens? Does law become more widespread? I think so. I think legislation will become cheaper. I think legislation will become mass produced, which basically means that you as a citizen will be uh, able to go and cheaper and faster and easier litigate against anyone and anything, even the state. And the people that are litigated against will also be able to deal with larger quantities of litigation because they'll be able to automate that too. So
Well,
you'll get more execution of justice. Not saying you're getting justice, but at least the system itself
yeah,
will go up.
won't AI take care of that? I mean,
Yeah,
we don't have
exactly,
police
exactly,
officers.
Well, no,
exactly.
those,
AI will get,
those
yeah.
laws,
I
those
mean, we're
laws
not
are
going to
not
get
yet
tickets
written.
because we're not going to drive our own cars. We're not going to need insurance because we're going to have no wrecks because AI is already taking care of that. We're not, I mean, once you start breaking it down, it's a moment. It's an atomic bomb in the brain. Way too much for me to understand this
Okay,
in this
okay.
program.
First off, okay. A lot of people will say that code is law. That is actually false. Code is law within code, correct? But code is not law. Law is law, and for those laws to be created, we're not to that point yet. So
But right,
AI may have a little bit to do there in the future, or a little more guidance or help to help write those laws, but that we're not there yet.
drop the mic.
Well, we
That's a
just want to answer
good.
your questions, Javier.
No. Hey, I like. I mean, I'm here to learn, and I do learn every time I'm here. I don't remember much, but I do learn while I'm
You
here.
don't remember much?
No, that margarita just never allows me to retain.
Oh, really?
But
Just
in
one.
other words, all your secrets are safe. I, a steak. You said
I elect
you
you as
said
president.
it. No, I'm just joking.
Hey, we got a message, I think.
Yeah, somebody.
Uh, or maybe Dave's doing that right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just playing in the chat room, just seeing who else here. So just
I think we
Yeah,
are going to AI. I think we're going to do that. I think this next step, and is this the early step that we are going to
well,
see
I have one
in
more
March,
question for
April?
Dave, if we can. You talked about residual income earlier, residual income coins, Dave. Which projects would you think are you thinking about that?
well, I already said Tezos and Cardano.
Yeah.
For a few reasons. Um, for many reasons. One, Tezos linked to Goldman Sachs, and also Tezos being 69 cents. The only other time you could buy it this cheap was like right after the ICO. I mean, to acquire more to get payouts every 3 days for running a Baker node, I think are going to play a thing. Also, Tezos was Cliff High's mystery coin. So from back in 2017, it played out, hit all the data sets. So it's another I've listened to and paid attention to for years. I was in the ICO of that one. Another
So
residual
if I may
income.
ask you, if I may ask you an important question. So if we would say hypothetically, I have the list in my head, we would have like these 5 categories. You know, those residual income coins, Cardano, Tezos. We have like the intellectual property, compounds, Bitcoin, Satoshi Vision, Veritasium. We have like our UTXOs, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, maybe
Well,
Doge,
I see
maybe Ravencoin.
Veritasium is also a residual income project.
That yeah, I know it's multifaceted. I know, I'm aware. You know yeah, I know, but you know you have to divide them in some way in how they're prolific. And I think the most unique prolific aspect of Veritasium is its connection with the patent. Even though that might not hold up, but I do think that Reggie will probably connect 1 and 2. And then like the fifth one was like the ISO 2022, like your HBAR, your XRP, your XDC, your Stellar, your that whole list.
I got another
So
category.
so my question. Oh, okay. Before I ask the question, then what's your 6th category, Javier?
Well, I think that there's going to be coins that are actually going to be able to analyze the businesses for the value of a possible loan to them. I don't know which coins are doing that, but I do think that I see that very important for small business loans and for medium business loans.
Right.
I knew some
That's
old
another
coins that
residual
used to do that.
income. That
It's
falls under residual
yeah.
income.
Okay, then
So
excuse
5
me for
categories. So my
5
We got
question
to have
then.
categories.
gambler coins. We got to have gambler coins.
So I'm just gonna pop the question. So how do we allocate our portfolio?
Wow.
Depends on your level of risk.
Yeah, but let me try to specify that question a little bit. Would it be too far-fetched to think, or could it play out in a manner that we're going to see these things that we did just put in boxes, even though the boxes might be wrong on Veritasium, for example, but um, that they would not pop all at the same time, but depending on the legislation, they would pop at certain moments. So then you have like, what's going to happen first, right? What's going to happen first? I honestly think UTXOs are going to pop first, like Bitcoin, because they're fully compliant. There is the least amount of paperwork to do there, and they're probably going to blow up first. That's my take on that. I think after that, or maybe together with that, intellectual property is going to blow up, IP, because you have to honor that. If you have institutional money coming in, it has to honor IP from the get-go. So before it goes somewhere else, it goes there. So I think that your compound Bitcoin Satoshi vision and Veritasium will probably go together or shortly after UTXO. I think together even, because otherwise UTXO wouldn't jump without institutional money. So I think that would go hand in hand. But I don't necessarily think that at the exact same time, the other projects, like
The
residual
ISOs.
income projects or the ISO coins.
I see the residual income is later, after the ISO, after the legislation,
Yes,
after I see the residual income later. It's just right
yes.
now I'm earning on it. I'm not selling back
No,
to
no, no.
the
I'm talking
exchanges,
from a
but I'm just letting that
yeah.
compound.
Yeah, I don't want to go in a tangent there because it's already maybe too much to kind of talk about with like 5 different angles and maybe 20 different coins. But for me, the order of priority on what will blow up first is interesting, because you could allocate your wallet and your portfolio in a sense that you say, okay, I'm going to allocate 5% of something and everything, and then just go with that with 20 coins. That's a fair strategy. However, I also think it's a fair strategy to maybe say, well, I'm going to have like maybe 1% of everything, but I'm going to go into IP and UTXOs first. And then when that blows up, then I'm going to, frog leap with my profits to like the other projects, because I can see them popping up next. And I think that that's a fair thing to put our brain power into, because I do think that that's the way it's going to play out a little bit. I don't think we're going to have a regular alt season because of regulation.
Yeah, but
So
the ones
henceforth, my
with
question.
clearance and guidance will.
What do you think
So
about the
in what order?
facilitation? What do you think about the facilitation of the credit cards, the abilities for them to be able to be used? I believe AMP is one of them, AMP, uh, off of the
Well, let me
Flexa
tell you.
or
Let me ask
Flare. I
you
don't know,
another
one of
Play
the
question.
with
two.
the
Let me ask
flex
you another
account.
question. Let me ask you another question. What blockchain does MasterCard own?
Well, they partnered with XRP.
Oh,
Did they partner?
so
Did they partner with a financial institution or that we don't know, or with an exchange that we don't know?
I'm
tell
sure
us,
they have.
Of
tell us if
course,
you
they
I'm
have.
know.
sure they have by now.
Yeah.
Look. What we do know is that
So will
many
they
of
be
the
the
big,
first ones to move? My question to you.
many of the
Well, I'm
no.
sorry. Go
What I
ahead.
wanted to say, Javier, is the previous question. Is They own, like MasterCard, Visa, American Express. They own most of the mass media in crypto. They're shell companies of them. They own that news. They make the news. Like the credit card companies are balls deep into crypto, but we've never really been able to pinpoint like where are you on what blockchain? Is it Ethereum? Is it XRP? Are you going with the
XRP,
CBDC?
Cardano.
Yeah, are you going to go with the CBDC route, or are you going to go with the exchange or BlackRock route? I would be, if I would be like the chairman
Both.
of Visa, I would want to be everywhere, because everything can be a credit card loan. So I would want to be with the Bitcoin ETF with BlackRock. That's where I would want to be. I would want to be there where the actual money is, where the actual liquidity is, because we want to own the most Bitcoins eventually. We want to be in on the IOU paper Bitcoin. Would that make the most sense?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, you same thing with XRP and XLM. I mean, they said it very wisely one time. It's about the money, stupid.
Yeah, but put it this
Can we
way.
print that on a T-shirt?
Yes. I like it. I like it. I'm just saying, going back to AMP, they're already in, I think, Home Depot, Lowe's, Dunkin'
but that's an
Donuts.
app. That's on an app. That's on the Flexa app. That's the intermediary between.
Well, what's going to move first? I think was the question.
First, I agree with Steak. I see the UTXOs, and I see the ISO coins tied in with litigation and legislation. And I see the other patent coins. I mean, lastly, like was saying, the last thing that I see is everyone moving their coins into residual income projects later, which is why I during this cycle to have those coins that will give me a residual income, a retirement, if you will. So something that where if I needed funds,
Dave,
it's always
Dave,
there. Meaning I can always sell.
Dave, if you add 2 or 3 zeros in the next cycle,
Well, that's what
you
I'm
don't need
saying.
a
It's three
fucking
zeros.
retirement coin.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Somebody
cycle,
talk to Dave. I can't get to him. I can't get to him. He's still wanting to own the
20
world. No, I understand
2025
he's
is
young. And
2025 is 3 zeros, and 2029 is an additional 2 zeros. That's
Dave,
my goal.
Dave, you're playing such a long game with your pension there. Maybe you
What's
should
that
shorten
song?
that
Bye,
game.
bye, 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 bye. 2025. Bye, bye.
yeah, hell, that's it. That's it. I mean, and guys, do your homework. I mean, listen to some of these guys. These three people, not me, but these three people.
Get out of
They're
here.
on. They're obtainable on
Don't trust
Twitter. And
Javier. Don't trust Javier. He knows a
no,
lot more than he gives
no,
out.
I just
Don't trust
argue
him.
with everybody. I wanna bring out the question that sometimes a lot of the
Oh, I'm
don't.
just
I'm
kidding,
not gonna
mate.
say
You
just some of the questions that sometimes other people are used to thinking inside, and I think outside the box. Maybe I don't, but I want to know that we're hashing it to the very limits of hashing it out. I want to
well,
answer these questions because I will remember in about 3 days
I think we're going to
what
have
we
a
were
very
talking about.
interesting bull run because we're going to see a bull run with with legislation and with regulation and with compliance, which means that the bull run will be different because
Yep.
institutional money will come in, but also altcoins and meme coins won't be able to. They will try, but they will probably get Interpol on their ass. They think they're going to get away with it, but they will probably be very, very. They will be willing. They will be wanting to make their mark. Like it's like the legislation from the EU and the US is done. They're like, okay, Interpol, you got this. You go ahead now, and don't fuck it up. And then they're in the starting block position as well. Like they're going to look at this whole space like a hawk. They're like, okay, what's going to going on? What's going to go on? Like which exchanges are going to play ball and which aren't. And I think this space is too big,
What's
too
that?
important, and too rich that they won't have the funds in order to not do that. I think they definitely are looking. And a blockchain is just a public ledger. They'll be able to see everything. They'll be able
What's
to
that do
find
to the
everything.
cycle,
They can just
Steak?
automate it.
What's that do to the
Well, watch
cycle, the
that.
4-year cycle?
Cycles get more and more difficult. And I think once BlackRock gets
Speed
in,
up, slow
it will.
down,
It will.
different paces.
The halving will be the halving, and it might speed up a little bit due to the liquidity. But I think just with the S&P 500 or with stocks, you're probably going to have a very small window where you can take profit, and you really have to step up your game to stay in the game, because they're gonna shake that tree and try to catch more hard assets. So it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be very, very difficult going onward, and this is their work. This is their profession. This is what they
What's
do. They
what's
market
your
make
thought on the hard?
and they tank
What's your
markets.
what's your thought on the hard assets? Property, gold, silver,
Farmland,
Food.
farmland.
water.
I mean, Well, water, exactly. Water.
What do you need to survive? What do you need to survive, and how can they profit from it? So,
Air.
whatever that is, own that.
Air. Let's own
You know,
air. I'm
well,
going to patent
we need.
air.
Well,
Every time you
Elon's
breathe,
ready
you
to
pay
move
me.
us to Mars. I think. I read that today. That Elon was ready to move us to Mars.
Now, what do
To
you think are
Mars
hard assets? Look, like I'm going to be very honest.
spaceship.
I think a little bit differently, Javier. And it
Mm-hmm.
was advice that I was given by my brother about investing a little bit of money. And he said, and he doesn't know a lot about investment, but it was very profound what he said. He says, you can invest in like more money, sure, but you can also invest in other aspects of life. Like you can invest in an education, you can invest in comfort, you can invest in health, you can invest in the people surrounding you. You can invest in love. You can invest in the new generation. Like you can invest in the community. There's you can buy a new pair of shoes. You can buy a new shower. You can buy a new mattress. Like you can.
Comfort. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but also more energy. Like because and it's stuff like that which I think you need to balance as well.
yeah.
And
Invest in
you know what
freedom
you
and
said.
independence.
Well,
Same thing. Invest in those things that make you freer, so that you don't have to worry about other things. Take the
Yeah, or make
burden
you more
away.
enjoyable, make
Right.
more memories.
Yeah.
and Steak, let your
Great
brother
memories.
know he's smart like me in a different avenue. Just you know what? I wasn't expecting you to say that, and yeah, you know what? That is because I've missed out. I've been in it for 17. I think that's 6 years now. I don't even know what the hell. And it's not that I missed out. I haven't missed out on anything, um, but I didn't capitalize, and I
I
think
know,
it hurts my
but in
feelings
your
more
case,
than it
Javier,
hurts my yeah.
I would just invest more in mermaids.
Yeah. There you go. Mermaids make you happy. Invest in
Yeah,
mermaids.
buy mermaids. Like, and at what
Well,
price? At the
I
top,
mean,
at the bottom, I don't know.
We got
it's
the
You
not my
tell
mermaids
me.
that
only
swim down at
focus.
the bottom, and you got the mermaids that pop
Yeah,
up and
Yeah,
yeah.
can we
It's not
divide
my,
them in 5 categories? Is there like
yeah.
which one will blow up first? I don't know.
yeah. Well, it's not my only focus. I do have other focuses, but I can't think of any right now because I'm distracted again.
But
But
so let's talk about those hard assets again.
Yeah,
I
unicorns.
understand. I
Good to have hard
I'll
understand.
be
assets.
I'll be hunting a unicorn.
So what I just wanted to say is live life as
Uh,
well, and
Yes,
yes, I
exactly.
think good advice, and good not only for me but for other people. I think I know that I think what Jason Ip was the one that started lick your ice cream or woo woo dude or whatever. But it's
smell the
very
roses.
true. Lick your ice cream. Take advantage. Don't be afraid to pull stuff out and live life because if not, there'll be a time where it may be another 4 years before you can. And 4 years
Well, I
is a
just want to
long son of
travel.
a bitch.
Can't
I
huddle
think if we're
forever.
really, I think if we're really going to have a digital identity that might, eventually have some carbon footprint bullshit on top of it. Before that happens, I kind of want to travel. I want to experience some places because I don't want to be with the fuckery of like, oh, you exceeded your carbon footprint. I can see that angle coming. And I've hardly done anything with my carbon footprint ever. I've always lived very poor and hardly owned anything. And then all of a sudden you get into money and you want to travel, and it's like, yeah, you can't. Yeah, fuck that shit.
No,
It's
I'll buy
like,
somebody else's carbon footprints. I'll happily I can buy their
yeah,
carbon footprints from.
yeah, you
But
probably have
that's
plenty of tokens for that.
yeah,
You
On
can
that
you can
yeah.
note,
buy
I gotta
Black
hop out,
Rocks
guys.
approved.
I gotta
Ah,
jump
Clint,
out because I gotta go enjoy life. The dogs want to go out, and I gotta walk them. So I'm
I
gonna
got
go do that.
I
That's
wow,
got
that's
yeah.
that's what it
We're
comes
at a
down
point.
to, man.
I
yeah,
got
man.
my dog.
All right,
I
How
man. A
gotta
many
great
go
dogs you got?
conversation. I gotta go
Hey
though.
man, it was a good one. I enjoyed it, Clint.
Talk to you
All
later.
right,
But
all right.
yeah,
All right,
Have a great
man.
night.
I think. What are you
Can I
doing?
call you? Oh, he's gone already. I was wondering if I could call him Clint Westwoof.
Yeah, he's been called worse. No, I'm just joking. He's a great guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
He's
he's
like
great. He's
me. It's
phenomenal.
hey, we answer to anything. we answer to anything. But it's again, this is a good show. Wow, we hit some serious topics, and hopefully this is helpful for some people. Analyze it, ask questions, ask people that make sure you know who's giving you the questions, and that they're truly people that are informed. That's very, very important, because I do hear a lot of stuff out there that I'm like, damn, even I know that they're not on the right track. So
For sure. Dave, you want to add something to that, or you want to wrap it up? It's 2 hours,
Yeah,
20 minutes.
I would say let's get to wrapping it up, because I mean I got to go walk my dogs here too. So
Right.
I don't have any dogs. I have to go use the restroom myself. But
I'll be listening, but I'm gonna do camera out, but I'm listening.
yeah, it's many different aspects to look at in the near to not too distant future. But many things have to be done by March of this next year for legislation. So there are many different aspects and angles to play here. So to hold one asset and call that your precious, I think, is rather naive. Not only that, no investment portfolio manager would have you solely in one asset of just Apple or just Microsoft or just Google or just Netflix or whatever it may be. They're not going to have you in one. There are going to be many different winners. However, there should be, and hopefully this cycle there will be many losers as well, because we don't need more projects and more coins that do the same thing. We need to utilize what already exists. We need to further develop those other things that will branch and will interlink other things. The interoperability will just compound that to the next level, and think the tokenization of financial assets globally. So, and what other technology is there that can scale to meet the demand of society globally? You're in it. There will be some that do better than others. However, I think most of the good projects that are out here currently, um, like I said, add 3 zeros basically during this next cycle, like of that of 2017, where $1,000 in the XRP, gave you 200,000 XRP, and what did that turn into? 800,000 dollars at that point. Even though dollars, that's not the ultimate goal, but it's as a good measure to look at. Or $1,000 into ant shares turned into $1 million worth of Neo, or $1,000 of this turned into $1 million of that. So yes, I do see a market cycle in the not too distant future where we don't know really what to expect, but I think it will surprise us all. So I see 3 zeros this cycle of 2025, and I see an additional 2 zeros in 2029. So, I think we're in for a hell of a ride, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. Well said. So let's put the thumbs up and the ending music, I guess. Then we'll talk to you all next week, right?
Yep, sounds good. It just been a little busy, and a lot of other stuff happening. And the other stuff that is happening, I think let's just let that happen instead of, I mean, a few other things. Look, that's not my glory. That's someone else. So let's let that play out. If other things come about, I may mention it, but I think to have an interview at this point would be self-defeating, because of my emotion tied to friends. So it's not that I would go to make a point of anyone or anything. I would really just want the information. However, I don't know. I know me, and I would rather recuse myself. I'd rather take myself out of it. So, and it may be a talking point at a later date, but not for now. We'll let things play out and keep everyone posted on what wallets to use for those things of NFTs and the integration and the things to expect moving forward. So as they are brought to us. So with that, I guess that's it. Y'all got any closing words?
None whatsoever, man. I just want to say thank you and talk to you next week.
All right.
All right.
Well, yep. Love y'all. Y'all go make it a day. Later.